In 1981, Steven Spielberg brought us a cinematic epic that, while inspired by tales of the past, redefined action heroes for the modern generation. Outrunning boulders and death at every turn, armed with a bullwhip and sidearm and his wits. Indy's done so much for us over the years. It's time to give back by talking over all his body of work in a little something we like to call Indiana August on the Main Street Cinema. The show where we discuss the finer points of filmmaking. Oh my god, I just lost that towards the end. Greetings, everyone. Tiki here.
And BlueDragonFive.
Sandy Claus.
And Jacob Wile.
Dragon, it sounds like you're not pleased. You know something you will be pleased about?
Tell me.
Listening to a wonderful product on the Movie Machine Podcast! That's right, folks. Before we get to the James Bond and Indiana Jones team-up, the closest thing we'll ever have to a James Bond and Indiana Jones team-up, listen to the Movie Machine Podcast. It's the show where the friends at Super Academy like to come up with hypothetical scenarios just as awesome as a Bond and Indiana Jones team-up all the time, all kinds of crazy ideas, wacky hypothetical scenarios, wacky casting choices. It's all there. It's the Movie Machine Podcast at HotChocolateMedia.net, starring Jacob Gulliver, Ben Lifson, Kyle Decker, and a rotating panel of guest stars. All right, HotChocolateMedia.net.
Be there or be square.
Oh, yeah. Okay, guys, so Last Crusade, let's really quickly do a roundtable of our initial thoughts on the movie and kind of like maybe our first experiences with the movie, and then, Dragon, I believe you probably have some background, and then we'll get started. So, this is... I love all three Indiana Jones movies. This is the one I love the least. I'm sorry. I know that's an unpopular opinion. I know. Honestly, it's just... There's too many things in this movie that feel a little bit derivative of Raiders to me. It feels too much like a retread to me. There's still a lot of really fun parts to it. Of course, Sean Connery is absolutely the highlight. He is absolutely the star of the movie. It kind of bothers me that, I don't know, I feel like while this movie does have a really, really strong emotional core with Sean Connery and Indy, some of the magic is kind of lost for me just because there's not as many, I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm digging a hole for myself already. To me, it's a little derivative. It's not quite as creative as Temple of Doom was, just because with Temple of Doom, like we said, I kind of think Temple of Doom took a lot more risks, whereas this was kind of trying to course correct for Temple of Doom, and therefore it kind of plays like a safer movie for me. It kind of plays like the safest of the Indiana Jones movies, if that makes any sense. It's very lighthearted. It's very fun. It's very whimsical. I feel like being so lighthearted kind of came at a little bit of a price. I love the movie. I think it is definitely an incredibly solid action adventure. It's a wonderful way to end the franchise. The ending with them all riding out into the sunset, still probably one of my favorite film endings of all time. But I gotta say, just stacking up the original three Indiana Jones movies, this is probably number 3 out of 3 on my list. That's not to say it's a bad movie, far from it. Just, like I said, I think we can all agree that Raiders is definitely the top mark on the list.
No, not a debate at all on that one.
Yeah, right. And then with Temple of Doom, I know it's very, very divisive. I know most people lean towards Last Crusade. But for me, I just kind of have to give the edge out to Temple of Doom just because it's so creative, so macabre, and like I said, it kind of took a lot of risks, whereas this one kind of course-corrected the risk that Temple of Doom took. So, all right, who wants to follow that and just beat me into submission? Come on. I'm ready for it. I can take you guys.
Sandy, would you like the honors?
I'm still typing out my thing here.
Jacob, would you like the honors?
Like the honors of beating him? No, I'm going to take the honors of joining him.
Yay! Awesome! What a twist! All right, Jacob, let's hear your thoughts.
So, since I wasn't there yesterday, and since I wasn't there yesterday for the Temple of Doom, and now that it's been taken down through copyright, I can't watch it.
Yeah, folks, I'm going to get that addressed as soon as possible. I'm probably just going to do a re-upload of it.
They were taken. The Temple of Doom was taken down due to copyright strike.
Yeah, 'cause
Oh, I
apparently
just watched it a few
Paramount-
minutes ago. It was fine.
Really?
I didn't see it. It was, I mean, it was maybe not a few minutes ago, but I checked it later. It was there all today.
Well, let's not talk about this on air. But
All right. Well,
but folks, will if I don't get it up, if it's not like resolved, then I'm gonna re-upload it. I think the problem was Paramount kind of striked it for using the poster. That's why I'm using a different image. That's not the poster. I digress, Jacob. But go ahead.
all right, but so I would definitely have to agree with you, Tiki. Obviously, I don't prefer Temple of Doom over the first one. Nothing can, no, really,
I
barely,
don't either.
barely anything can top the first one. Not even barely any other movie can top that one when it comes to that, for me at least. But as far as the other ones go, as far as the sequels go, I would definitely say Temple of Doom is my favorite of them. Like, for the reasons you pointed out, it took greater risks, stayed true to the formula, and provided me a lot of fun. Plus, it has like some of the best musical scores in this series as well, in my opinion. Yeah, especially the scene where Indy's rescuing the kids from the slave mines.
Yeah, definitely. But just kind of overall, your thoughts on Crusade, though?
I think it's let's just say the order of my favorites are basically the order of the way my favorites are the orders they came out. I have to agree. This is in third place for me as well. But this is like you said, it's a very solid movie. I mean, this is definitely far from a bad movie.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I mean, it's always a treat to see Sean Connery and Harrison Ford acting together. They have a very great dynamic. I mean, even though they're only 12 years apart, it looks like they're ages apart.
Right.
But they have like very great on-screen chemistry. You can definitely believe they're father and son in a way. Both Henry Joneses after all. So, and it's just like just a very fun take on the classic formula. They said it is a bit safer than the others, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I mean, I kind of like it. I mean, I really like this movie. I mean, I wouldn't. It's definitely a very good, still solid, still proved that Indy, even in the later years, still had his solid going.
Okay.
I'm rambling now, so you can go ahead.
Sandy, are you ready?
Yeah. I feel it has more action and adventure than any other indie film, from the boat chase to the sewers to the tanks to the hot air balloons to the Nazis and planes and car chases. It has great leading lady of course Sean Connery. Who could forget him? It has a wonderful backstory about father and son bonding, and I feel it hits nail right on the head as far as that goes. There's betrayal, there's love, there's a bunch of whimsy. With of course Sala makes his epic return. And it's all tied into this great finale to the trilogy until Crystal Skull happened, and then it just kind of... But yeah, for my first impression on this movie was just kind of, wow, that's like, the first time I watched it, I was just blown away by how epic the entire thing was, and I loved it. There's really no more to it.
I will admit this movie does win some points while having Sala in it.
Yeah.
Right, Dragon?
Well, I got a lot of love for this movie. I think it's great. My first introduction to it, well, I mainly remember is my grandmother, because she's a real big fan of Sean Connery. I think this might be her favorite Sean Connery performance. Honestly, she just told me she personally likes this one better than out of all the Indiana Jones movies, mainly because of Sean Connery. But it's really. The movie is really good. It's really entertaining throughout. Again, it's Raiders off the table, because Ken Raiders is fantastic. He's the model. This movie, it's entertaining throughout. You got a great comedy. Again, the father-son dynamic. Again, things we kind of already said here. But I guess what it really boils down to, this to me is. I'm going to defend this just as I say here. I think it's the most rewatchable. Now, Raiders is a film that's so in the public consciousness. You know it like the back of your hand. You know the moments. So you don't need to rewatch it. You just need a few minutes, and the whole movie comes flooding back to your mind. This one for me is like, if it comes on TV or something, I'm going to be kind of compelled to watch it, because man, it's so entertaining. They're like, you're waiting for like a moment of maybe with a little less entertaining, you're going to leave. No, I think it's just entertaining throughout. It's like a solid chase movie that doesn't get old. It's really. it's engrossing. It's a fun kind of like, hey,
I will say, Dragon, that is a good argument. The fact that it's not so like iconic and in the public eye is kind of like you can kind of sit down and watch this movie and get new things out of it. Whereas with Raiders, of course, we're not saying this is a better movie than Raiders, far from it. But with Raiders, it's almost like Raiders is kind of like that painting where you stared at it for hours upon hours and you've just admired every little detail, every brushstroke, and then
Last Crusade, looking at the painting from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And
then Last Crusade is just kind of like, ooh, what's this interesting smaller painting over here?
Yeah, and just what it boils down to, it's that I find much more enjoyment with this than I do with Temple of Doom. Like, Temple of Doom, I'm gonna hit like a stride where it's like, oh, well, this bits really aren't. I'm not crazy about it. Willie Scott's an instant turn off, and then I have, like the whole kind of little diversion in the second act. It's where we go a little uber dark. I mean, basically a lot of things kind of like until I get to the third act, Temple of Doom, not really. Basically, the opening and the third act, Temple of Doom's all I really have to grab onto. This movie had from point A to point B, I'm loving it. I'm engrossed. I want to know what happens next, even though I know exactly what happens next. All
right, fair enough.
Well, it's a really, really fun experience. I could watch the movie a lot. It's very rewatchable for me.
Dragon, so do you have a little bit of background?
Yes, I do. Okay, so folks, here's the background making this film. I would say, just going to preface at the background, I think this is one of the most revised Indiana Jones films. Like, there was a lot of drafts of this one. So basically, George Lucas and Steven Spielberg are definitely remorseful over Temple of Doom. Basically, they both think went a little in a dark direction. They admit, they were kind of going through dark periods of both their lives, and just kind of made that they basically weren't as kind of separated emotionally from the film as they would have liked. So basically, they're kind of remorseful with the direction Temple of Doom took, and they're really committed to returning to the fun spirit of Raiders of the Lost Ark. So, I mean, so dedicated. I mean, Spielberg, he turned down directing Big and Rain Man to do this. I mean, he's really passionate about, I'm going to return to Indiana Jones. I'm going to do it right. I mean, we're going to end it on a trilogy, or I want to go out on a really nice high note. That's kind of Spielberg's kind of, that's kind of his goal set with this film. So George Lucas, yet again, he's throwing the haunted castle idea in the mix. The Scotland, the haunted castle in Scotland was pitched again, which kind of led us to a set location, which was the Temple of Doom from Temple of Doom. So he's pitching the haunted castle, and the reason it still hasn't gotten off the ground is because going to the haunted castle to find the Holy Grail, and that's not doing it as the teaser, as the initial kind of little prologue sequence. With the Monkey King and kind of Fountain of Youth angle as the main plot. Spielberg's not really going for it because he thinks the Holy Grail, it's a little too grandiose at first. He thinks it's a little too big item to go after initially. Eventually gets smoothed over on that one. I'll get to that in a moment. But basically, Spielberg, he's not crazy about doing a haunted castle because of Poltergeist. He's still thinking, I already did kind of a haunted house movie. How do you do that again? So anyway, so then they're kind of settling on. They're kind of working through the first draft. Okay, I'll give you some credit. Let's work with like the haunted. Basically, I'll give you the Holy Grails of the opening, and then we'll do maybe Monkey King and / the Fountain of Youth in Africa for the main plot. Bree and Chris Columbus wrote a few drafts. Chris Columbus scored some lines behind Mrs. Doubtfire, many other classics. Mm-hmm. And they didn't. Basically, Chris Columbus's draft didn't quite grab Spielberg or George Lucas. So the story really clicked into place when Spielberg pitched the father idea. Basically, a way to make, in his opinion, the Holy Grail thing work. Spielberg obviously has various father issues over the years.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. That was a running theme of Spielberg month for sure.
Spielberg.
I get a sense that
Spielberg and your daddy issues, you silly rapscallion.
And I get a sense that George Lucas kind of detecting that is kind of wondering, well, I think we're getting a little too invested in the films again, because we do that with
Steven, I think it's really time to make a father picture out of Indiana Jones. I know you really want to do it. Now, Steven, I can have aliens in the next one, but you can have a father figure in this one, all right? Deal, Steven? I'm sorry, Dragon, I'm sorry.
Anyway, so basically Lucas is he's not really kind of grabbing onto the idea. Then Spielberg kind of sells him up by saying, look, we tie in kind of the quest for the Grail with the father-son bonding journey. So basically the journey and finding the Grail is actually the item itself. So that really kind of started to gravitate towards Lucas, and they're kind of sold, okay, we can do the Holy Grail's thing as the main plot in the film. They bring in Menno, I'm going to butcher his last name here, Menendez, Menendez, I'm sorry, I can't back him. to work on a new draft. The story runs a little wild with kind of the Grail's power set and a few little tangents here and there of like you going after Death Mask on the side. Pretty much, it was a little wild with the main Grail plot. So then they bring in Jeffrey Boehm, whose name you'll definitely see on the DVD. This guy's kind of the main writer that kind of went with in the end. Boehm, he grounds the story close to the final product. Few alterations. These are just kind of minor alterations of basically who does what, pretty much. So basically, it's really close to the final product you have there. Then you have a few more alterations, such as George Lucas gets the idea to add the young Indiana Jones prologue at the beginning. That's Lucas.
That is one of my major gripes with the movie, I gotta say.
I'm gonna defend it tooth and nail when we get there. So.
You can defend it. I think it's just kind of like a shameless pilot for young Indiana Jones.
Anyway, let's see. So,
shameless. It's shameless. You hear?
Anyway, so
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
end of the day, so basically, George Lucas he kind of adds into the young Indiana Jones prologue at the beginning there. The film at the end of the day was fun. It was full of improvised gems. There are a lot of great improvised moments we'll get throughout the film. And in the end, you get a triumphant end to a trilogy, at least until 2008.
Oh boy. Then a hurricane came around 2008. All right, I'm not going to do it anymore.
I'm gonna put your head inside the ark.
Oh god. Oh god. All right, so you guys ready to go? You guys all on timestamp 00?
Yep.
Okay, yep.
Okay, so folks, we're going to do our level best to record this as a podcast that you don't necessarily have to watch along to the movie to listen to and enjoy. But if you do want to watch along to the movie, I'm sure it'll provide some extra context. So go ahead and get your copy of the movie, however you want to do it, streaming, DVD or otherwise, and pull up to timestamp 00, and we'll go ahead and count up to 3 when I say go. Press play. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
I know the way. Ah.
Indiana Jones, the kingdom of the... Not Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Tell me that's not your Sean Connery. Tell me that's your Sulla. Please tell me that's your Sulla.
It was my Sean Connery. I won't do my Sean Connery. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade in 1, 2, 3. Go, Junior.
Junior.
Okay. So I do think it's cool that this is an American mountain that they transition to. That's a nice kind of change of pace here.
I love the Paramount running gag until 4 gets a little sloppy with it.
Oh, we'll get to 4.
We'll get there.
Oh, that was a slap in the face. Oh, boy.
Like, what about the gong?
Well, the gong was
I
cool.
like the gong.
Yeah,
I think that was creative.
That's like my favorite, the gong.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine too, I guess, but...
Okay, this is Utah, right?
Yes, this is Arches National Park in Utah. It's a really good. I think we gotta admit the locations and the sets in this one are really great because most of it's kind of like on set locations.
And it's also kind of more urban than the other Indiana Jones movies in a way because it takes place in more city locations for the most part.
Yeah.
Like you have Venice, you have Germany. You know what I mean? It kind of makes it a little distinct.
Yeah, I like this one kind of is a little more globetrotting, which again with the James Bond thing Spielberg's been going for since the beginning. It really fits. There's a lot of Bondian elements in this one.
So ask me one thing, Dragon, that might kind of soothe my frustration with this Young Indiana Jones thing. Was Young Indiana Jones in development before this, or did they do Young Indiana Jones because of this?
I believe it's kind of after this was done, they kind of got the idea of like, well, we really like that opening. Why don't we do a series? Kind of.
Okay.
That's what I believe. I haven't looked that.
Because I'd hate to think that this is a cash grab. You know, I'd hate to think this is basically like a pilot for Young Indiana Jones.
I don't think it's a cash grab. Then again, George Lucas came up with it, so I can't really tell you. I can't.
Oh God. Regardless, it's fine. I think it's a good way to open it. It's definitely out of the 3. It's my least favorite of the 3 cold opens. What really bothers me is I don't necessarily think we needed to know some stuff like how Indy got his whip or how he got a sphere of snakes. Like, that kind of stuff just kind of seems really obligatory to me and kind of like prequel-itis in a way. And I don't really like when a prequel spells it out that much for you.
It's kind of like, it's the one that's most disconnected from the main plot.
Yeah, right. Like, to me, Dragon, I kind of feel like the mystique of Indiana Jones is almost a little lost here because you do get those answers to the questions that kind of made the character more interesting.
I mean, what I kind of meant was, like the first movie, like at least it was a cold open, but it connected him to Belloc, and
right.
rival treasure hunters. And
So
in the second movie, it like set up. They're just like basically what propelled them into the main storyline. Even
Yeah.
though it was a song and dance number, but it propelled them into the main storyline with the poison and everything.
So you guys are saying it's like seeing Boba Fett in The Return of the Jedi and Empire Strikes Back, and then seeing him in Attack of the Clones, and having the mystery be ruined. It's like that.
It's not that bad. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's not that bad, Sandy. But to me, it's kind of like, all right, well, now that we know how Indy did, and to me, it kind of bothers me that all these things just go off on a checklist, like in the period of about 5 minutes. You know, where he gets his hat, he gets the whip, and he gets the fear of snakes.
I think it's worked in well enough. I think if you're going to do that, if you're going to introduce kind of the so again, you're not getting the whole history of all the adventures he's had. You're just getting kind of the inkling of kind of him.
I just think the whole thing is just kind of like a little hokey. The way it's just, we'll get there when we get there. Speaking of this right now, I do like this kind of prototypical Indiana Jones. This might be what Indy would be like if he kind of was on the wrong side of the law a little bit. Like maybe if he would have turned out a little bit more like Donovan, you know, in a way.
Yeah, like the idea of the grave robber being a mentor for Indiana Jones is very cool. You're basically kind of like the most negative form of an archaeologist, the grave robber.
Sure.
Basically being basically the regalia of a grave robber being kind of the inspiration for the visual of Indiana Jones, but he's the complete opposite of that. You know, he embodies the best of archaeology and motivation. You're doing it put in a museum. So let's address River Phoenix here. River Phoenix has actually portrayed Harrison Ford's son in a movie once, Mosquito Coast.
Nice. I mean, I'm not going to knock him. He does a good job.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd honestly have to see more young Indiana Jones to really get a feel for his performance, like in a greater context. But
I don't think he was in young Indiana Jones.
No, he's not. But he's as a young Indiana Jones. That's the thing.
Oh, he's not young Indiana Jones?
I don't think he is. I don't believe so.
Oh, you guys might be right. I'm sorry. I apologize. That's just dumb of me.
I didn't watch the show, though, so I can't tell you.
Right. No, it's dumb of me to just assume he was.
I think they got someone else for that.
Yeah.
I mean, look,
of course he did have an untimely death, so that might have had something to do with it.
Anyway, I like these fun raiders. Again, it's like forming the personnel. Like, you know, he has at first he's not afraid of one individual snake, and he says, "Oh, thing is selling along the way." You know, him and young Marcus Broach. I love the kind of beginnings of that friendship. I think we're getting some good character development. It all kind of builds to see how his relationship with his father is.
Yeah, and that is kind of the one thing I'll defend where it does connect back to the main story. It is a very important lesson from the father.
I think it's more fluid than just kind of a checklist. I think it's more like, okay, well, this is like a big event. This is the first time he actually kind of became an archaeologist, and that's where these moments kind of fell into place. And they're figuring, okay, well, it's a what maybe hurts himself.
Well,
that was
like I said, you know what? Maybe if they would have cut out I can live with the hat, and I like the snakes. I can live with the hat. The whip thing is kind of hokey to me.
Well, it's because
I don't exactly appreciate the whip thing there.
I'm saying it's a circus train's for me the perfect kind of coverall in that, because you have all these animals on a train. It's adventurous. It's something we haven't really seen before. Of course, you have snakes.
Thing, like I said, I would have probably preferred it if the snake thing was just kept a mystery, because that was kind of one of the most mysterious parts of the character, is how a character that badass could have such a crippling fear of snakes. But having said that, I do think what they do with it is pretty enjoyable, and it's pretty clever.
He's buried alive in various snake boxes.
Right.
Again, we saw he wasn't afraid of snakes initially. One snake doesn't bother him, but then being
that's true. That's a good distinction.
And a huge poisonous-looking one first. That's what I'm saying. I mean, this to me feels like a lot of Spielberg fun. I do like that. We're kind of getting back, it's a territory with Indiana Jones we haven't seen before, but it's in some ways, again, it's the entire formation of the character. It's kind of a fun little area in that regard. Just Indiana Jones and just he's on kind of a moving, it's a kind of an action set piece platform.
I do like the train. I do like the fact that we get Indiana Jones on a train. That is fun. That's a clever set piece, a clever idea.
It's like everything we know. It's like a perfect recap for Indiana Jones. All the stuff we kind of know about the guy, but it's also giving us plot with the father-son.
Oh God.
The rhino's crying. No.
Poor rhino.
If there's one thing I'll give Spielberg for this film, he knows how to just keep an action scene just going on and on and on with one crazy thing after another.
It's like, think about the subtle things too. I mean, literally, this whole train set piece is literally Indy getting himself into one problem after another, quite literally, in each
Yeah,
cart.
that's true. That's true. I appreciate that element of it.
Basically, with the on-the-nose stuff, I think there's also a great sense of, like, when he gets into the magic box, it's magic actually working. When he's skeptical, he gets inside a magic box and it actually works.
Well, I also kind of took that as there was a trap door on the train as well.
Well, I mean, it doesn't really... I don't know, it's shot like it's... Because, I mean, why would there be a trapdoor at the very bottom under the box?
I don't know. What do you guys think?
I don't know.
Oh, let's see what happens, I guess.
That's always how I read it.
Remember what I said about how I brought Batman into this? Like, he's Indiana Jones. He can do it because he's Indiana Jones.
And again, this whip thing is kind of funny. You know, it kind of makes sense the first time he uses a whip, he might not be that careful with it.
The scar, how he gets the scar on his chin, which Harrison Ford actually has.
Oh,
Yeah, he got that. In real life, he got the scar in a car accident. That's why he has that scar under his chin.
I don't know. Like I said, Dragon, I don't really have a problem with it. I just think it's a little convenient.
More convenient than landing, than just landing and getting roped into this adventure in India.
Okay, fair enough.
It's not as convenient as that. This is okay. Well, it's a circus train, so I have all these animals on board.
How did he not notice that extra snake in his arm?
Well, he's pumping with adrenaline in his veins. You know, he's trying not to.
All right. Let's observe this. Let's see if we can make some science out of this shit.
It looks a lot like kind of like it might be a gag of like, hey, it's real magic. Yeah, there's no way he should have escaped this room.
Okay, well, it's the end of the train.
Yeah, there's that, I guess. I mean, it's like
There could be a trapdoor.
well, it's communicating that hey, it's magic and Indiana Jones and magic.
No, see, when he bangs up on it, he's like leaving through the trapdoor. I'm convinced there's a trapdoor. He's going under the train, rolling under the train, and then running away.
I think you're right, Tiki. I think you're right.
I think that's how it's supposed to go.
Yeah, look at this guy who's a little impressed by the kid.
No, I do. That guy probably is my favorite part of this whole cold open right here. Like I said, I like that it's kind of like an Indiana Jones who's on the wrong side of the law in a lot of ways.
Yeah. And again, I just love that's kind of the inciting incident. Kind of gets him in the archaeology. The idea of, okay, well, now I've seen kind of what...
There's a dog.
Yeah, that's the exact same kind of dog. I don't know if that's the actual Indiana or not, but that's the actual same kind of dog Indiana is.
I would assume that is Indiana.
I would like to think so.
Count the four in Greek.
And just showing kind of the pursuit over the Grail, kind of taking precedent over kind of giving his son time of day.
Yeah, right. That is kind of like the one thing that connects this opening to the rest of the movie outside of just building Indy's character further.
Hmm? Marcus Brody is really fun.
Oh my god. Fucking Brody.
It took me a while to realize. I never realized that. I never realized that was Marcus Brody.
Yeah, that's Marcus Brody.
And I never realized how prominent Brody was in this movie. So that's one thing I will give it credit for. Brody is probably the most prominent in this movie. So
Wait, that's Marcus Brody?
Yeah, it's
the fact yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah. Don't remember the guy earlier on saying Indiana? Indiana. He tells him, "Okay, listen, Marcus, I want you to go get the sheriff," which he now has.
I never tied the two, though. I mean, that kid is such a loser.
And they look completely different. Their only
Exactly.
resemblance is they're fat.
Well, I said I got the sheriff. That's the same kid.
Marcus Brody isn't fat.
Well, not now. I'm saying as a kid he's probably fat. The other guy wasn't exactly skinny as a rail, but let's not dwell on the fact. Yeah, my point is, I do love in the window just now. We just kind of saw, first of all, a fantastic transition, by the way. So we just kind of transited the hat going down to Indiana in the middle of adventure now. It's a great cold open from, we see, with the cold opens, I want to say this, that we evolve, and I love the special thing of this, that now we have kind of an Indiana Jones, we're dropped in the middle of an Indiana Jones adventure, but now we have kind of the emotional context for the item. We know exactly he's going up to the guy who just bought the item way back when, kind of making Indy look bad. He's now getting the same item from that guy. It's like the heart attached to the item. We want Indy to get this item, and it's a fun little mini action sequence in this film. It kind of has a lot of heartbeat. Anyway, so again, I do love how
Tiki's gone.
yeah, he'll hopefully be back. Anyway, I love I love that in the window just now with the guy in all white. They kind of represent everything Indy's kind of fighting against, kind of people buying artifacts. That really belong rightfully in a museum. That's kind of the runner.
It belongs in a museum.
I love that comes back. I mean, I know it's kind of a. He probably said that in Raiders at some point, but I'm saying now it's kind of the catchphrase. It's said as a catchphrase now. It belongs in a museum.
Yeah, but Belloc said that you may even be worth something when he threw him down into the pit. Drew Marion down there. If that's what you're referring to.
I meant like Indy literally saying it belongs in a museum or.
Oh. I thought. Never mind.
But yeah, this is a really again the sets. The sets look very kind of practical and very much like they're like on location. If they're not always on location in this movie, they look very, very convincing. Yeah, so the crashing waves. I mean, the color palette's really great in this movie. It feels really like we have like kind of blues, darkness here. Later on, we're gonna have like these great kind of golden atmospheres out in the outdoors.
Indiana Jones is so badass he can dodge waves.
And not lose his hat.
Yep.
Except for one point in the movie when we think he's died.
And when he's doing rolls down a door.
If the only time Indy's in real danger is when he loses the hat.
Yes. And those goes the ship.
Yeah.
And there's the other hat.
Yeah.
Symbolism or not?
Symbolism. But again, this is a really fun opening sequence. I mean, again, I like kind of having context for an indie adventure. I mean, it's kind of a win-win scenario. Even if you weren't too thrilled about the first one, you're gonna love that kind of that fun action sequence you get there on the boat. So we see.
Right, I have one little complaint here before we move on here. That guy with the white hat and the white suit.
Yeah. What about him?
We never knew anything about him except he stole the Cross of Coronado. I mean, they make him seem like he's like the big bad guy in the movie, and then he dies, and then that's it.
Well, we know he's not the big bad guy. It was just a little tie into the past. He was the guy from the past, and now Indy's meeting up with him in the future. It's like a mini arc in that opening. You don't need.
I know, but I feel like they made it seem like he's going to play a bigger part in the film.
I don't know, Sandy. I don't really think. I didn't read that at all. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, sure. Let's just introduce this bad guy and then kill him off. I mean, none of the other movies did that.
Well, we didn't see Lau again.
Lau
was good. He was good.
The Chinese guy.
Yeah, the Chinese guy. Yeah, we didn't see.
Well, I know, but he wasn't killed off. I mean, well, I guess. All right, you got me.
But what? Yeah, but I do kind of agree with them. It's like they just throw him in there just with this like, oh, he needs a villain in his past. Throw in a guy with a white suit. Done.
And again, it kind of right now, what we're seeing right now, it kind of ties in this really nice scene here.
I mean, at least Lau, we knew his name, and they had actually some conversation. I mean, we got to know his character with the white guy in the white suit. He had like 2 lines, and that was it.
Yeah, we don't need super development on every villain who's not going to have a major role in the story. It's a quick little. He's evil and he's buying an item. He's representing everything he's going up against.
I'm just thinking like when Indy saw his hat when the ship blew up and it was like playing that like foreboding music and I was just like, it makes it seem like he's a bigger character than what he actually was.
I'll give you the hat thing might be a smidge misleading. I'll give you that much. All right.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway, so I love the moment that kind of passed where it's Indy and Marcus. Like, it's real beautiful with how they're kind of bonding over this item that kind of started them on their life goals and their life, the way their kind of lives.
And he's definitely popular with his students.
Yeah, the kids love it. Again, people love archaeologists. People dig archaeologists.
Pun again. Mainly the girls.
Especially the girls, but I love Andy goes on these trips like he just did. Went on the trip that regained the cross, and there's a big workload left. I also love how humble Indy's office is. Look kind of like it's right next to a water heater. He's very humble about his space.
All right, now he has all those priceless artifacts and treasures in his office, and he just leaves the window open.
Well, no, they're not. No, it's like a few. We don't know how prices a lot of those are because he gave the real prices one to Marcus Brother, the one he just got.
I know, but those are like things.
We don't know what those are.
He leaves the window open and people can see.
Yeah, about that.
It is kind of a minor flaw.
Well, they probably know Indy's going to come after him if they take him. Anyway,
So I just had a minor connection issue, but I've still got my movie playing and everything, so it's all good. Yeah.
So here we have Walter Donovan.
Donovan is a better villain than I gave him credit for in Temple of Doom Dragon. Donovan was pretty good, rewatching it.
I love that at first he strikes you as kind of a friendly plot device. Of okay, the guy hires Indy to find the item in question, then he turns out to be kind of a big baddie.
And I can never remember his name outside of watching it.
I think his name is like... I like the way Indy says it. He's like, Donovan.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it rolls off the tongue pretty well.
I can remember... I can remember the first villain's name, I can remember the second villain's name, not his.
No, fair enough, fair enough.
I mean, I think it stands out a little bit more than Mola Ram.
Mola Ram. Well, you're forgetting, Dragon. That guy's real name is just Creepy Skull Hat Guy.
Exactly, his real name is Skull Hat Guy. And can you even remember the Prime Minister's actual name?
No.
Exactly. That's what
I'm not gonna lie. Dragon, you know what's going on here with Donovan? You know what he's luring Indy into with?
Pleasantries.
Pleasantries, indeed. Goddamn pleasantries.
Well, remember, Belloc had pleasantries.
Nick Ford would approve. Nick Ford would very much approve.
Yep. So yeah, I love how this is kind of very much kind of the James Bond "Here's Your Mission" scene.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I think it plays for, and this guy feels very Bondian as a bad guy. I really like that too. Kind of like Belloc a little bit. You know, it feels like he's. I
think he's more Bondian than Belloc was.
He's like, he's like if M was a bad guy.
Sort of.
Essentially, yeah. Yeah, basically, I mean, Belloc was kind of a rival and a kind of a superior rival to Indiana Jones because he was a guy in the field. This is a guy who doesn't have to go in the field. He oversees things.
Exactly, which I think makes him like
he's your Blofeld.
More in line with a Bond villain. He's kind of the guy overseeing things, kind of pulling the strings from behind the scenes.
Yeah.
This really is kind of Spielberg's chance to direct a James Bond movie.
Yes, and we'll definitely talk about that, of course, even more when Sean Connery enters the picture.
And I do think, rewatching, kind of forgot about the little gems of like these little good setup lines here and there. Like, for example, I love there's great setup of Indy and his father had definitely grown apart, and the Holy Grail is his life work. I mean, it's good setup in the dialogue, and later on we get some excellent visuals that are also good setup. Like, we even had a few of those in Temple of Doom. Like, remember the ripping the hearts out in the opening number.
Of course.
I mean, I do like when they kind of do that visually. When we go to Indy's father's house, we do see some great visual setup for the third act.
Yeah. And I do really like the whole idea that, first and foremost, this is a story about retrieving Indy's father, and kind of the Holy Grail kind of develops out of that plot.
Yeah, it's basically we save the father, and then they kind of realize, well, we got to stop the bad guys from getting something. It's not about just putting it in a museum. It's more so about stopping the evil guys from getting their hands on it.
Which definitely kind of raises the stakes.
Yeah, because literally, it's a race. Henry Jones has this awesome line where it says, it's like it's not about archaeological find. It's it's good versus evil. It's just getting it out of the bad guys' hands.
Yeah, I guess it kind of makes sense they went with Nazis again.
Well, I mean, now we're actually in the war. Before, we were a little before the war, and they were just kind of keeping tabs on the Nazis. We did all these kind of theories. Now we're actually absolutely makes sense we're in the war.
Yeah. And I do like the fact that with Temple of Doom, we got a villain that wasn't the Nazis, and it kind of changed it up. So, so I guess a return to form.
Or any other kind of organization like that. I mean, let's just say that not Crystal Skull, but Temple of Doom was the only one without a government bad guy.
Well, Temple of Doom had the Prime Minister.
Well, it wasn't not government. They had 1 and 3 had the Nazis and 4 had KGB. Russia.
Has anyone mentioned yet that Julian Glover, a.k.a. Donovan here, played General Veers in Star Wars?
No, we haven't mentioned that.
No, nice.
Well, also, the guy who plays Hitler was in Star Wars. I want to say the guy who plays Hitler in this movie was the guy who was killed on the video monitor in Empire Strikes Back. I want to say that's his death. But he was like an admiral guy. He was an admiral killed in Episode 5.
Okay.
He was the guy who disappeared, do you think?
What do you mean?
The guy, Hitler was the guy who disappeared in Star Wars, the general.
Yeah.
Is that what you said? Okay.
Bones, I think, is the one who he got killed in the video monitor. He strangled. Says, "Now you have this guy's job." At that moment, I think I don't know. At points he had a member of that, according to George Lucas. That's what they kind of sell as. Anyway,
so Dragon, like you were saying, really good set design here. That kind of definitely sets the stage for what this character's like, even before we meet him.
Certainly, I love that on the walls there you see the leap of faith, the painting. Again, these are things that come back big time in the third act.
Definitely. Yeah, I have nothing against this film. I want to make that clear. It's not like I'm hating on this film. It's just like if I had to choose one to never watch again, I'd probably choose this one. But I'm not hating on it in any way. I know it sounds harsh, but it's just like that's what we get when we talk about movies that are this good all the way through. Like, this is such a solid trilogy. A solid trilogy.
Doesn't mean it's true anymore.
Too much emphasis. But can we just say like the detail and how much detail they put into the journal itself?
Oh yeah,
absolutely. Jacob, do you think that the Grail Diary had any influence over the Gravity Falls journals? What do you think?
No.
Well, I mean, don't completely write that one off, because again, they're always kind of looking towards kind of the idea of having a kind of really thought out book. It's kind of
I'm not gonna lie, it crossed my mind when I was watching this. Not necessarily like, oh, I bet the guys from Gravity Falls were inspired by this. More so like, oh, that kind of reminds me of the journals from Gravity Falls.
I think those are more plot devices. Well, this kind of is a plot device, but those are more.
Yeah, I would say this is a plot device as well. Yeah.
It's really cool that in the apartment you get to see kind of young Sean Connery and Indiana Jones and the
yes.
Dragon.
Yeah.
Michael Shard, who played Hitler, he didn't play Admiral Ozzel in Star Wars.
Okay. Sorry, so many admirals. I mean, is that the guy I was talking about? Or is it?
yeah, it is.
Okay. Anyway, I love this.
What if Admiral Akbar played Hitler? Wouldn't that be a twist?
Admiral Akbar from... Anyway, so Donovan had a really great setup line where he says, "Don't trust anyone." That's a great kind of ironic line, but also I think thematically a great idea is that, it's the whole Indy does go through a lot of it in this movie. The idea of set up in Raiders that Indy has a problem trusting the wrong people.
Yeah, definitely.
And this film absolutely calls that into question. That's a thing you want to do moving forward in the story with that.
More traveling by map.
Yeah. I mean, is there any other way to travel? I mean, come on.
Not in the Indiana Jones universe. Well, I'd like to think that in the Indiana Jones universe, this is like a kind of like a metaphysical, like, all right, let's just take the map. Somehow.
The Muppets. If you notice, the Muppets also did that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'd like to think that in the Indiana Jones universe, they actually use the literal Muppets method.
So again, I mean, just the on-location sets we're at here. I mean, this looks so much like Venice. I mean, it's amazing. It's great.
Is this not Venice?
Well, I mean, I assume it is, but I mean, then again, it might be like a certain section of Venice that they could film in.
Because it looks amazing, and I'm pretty sure it's the actual.
I mean,
Venice.
it definitely looks like Italian architecture and all.
Yeah.
Well, the point is, I just like that they're kind of on location somewhere for it. It's not like
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that was just a random place, and they said, "Here, have some gondolas, go nuts." You just throw some gondolas in a city near a river, they'll believe it's Venice.
Pretty much, yeah, that is kind of true. But still, like Dragon said, it is very authentically European, which is neat because we have not seen it.
And importantly, it looks like old Venice too, which is really impressive.
Yeah. And like I said, we haven't seen Indiana Jones in Europe so far, so this is definitely that's what sets it apart. It's like Raiders was Egypt and Temple of Doom was India. This is Europe, so it is kind of cool that the three of the trilogy kind of tackle different, and even to give Kingdom of the Crystal Skull credit, that even kind of went to South America, which is another region they hadn't explored yet. So, and maybe Indy will go to San Francisco sometime soon.
All right. Anyway, so we meet Doctor.
I'm honestly surprised they didn't mention the fact that Italy was working with the Nazis at this time.
That's a good. That's a good point, Jacob. That's a good point.
Were they working with them at the time, or was that later?
I don't necessarily know at the time, but I do know, yes, during World War II in general, they were allies. Yeah, I'm not sure, like, this specific date, but...
I mean, they could have joined the Axis after this movie.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'd have to look all that up.
I don't know, but it's still kind of ironic.
Yeah. So, Dr. Elsa Schneider there is I do very much like this indie girl, far superior to Willie Scott, but then again, who isn't?
Superior to Willie Scott, but again, they just can't match the magic that is Marion Crane.
Yeah, I'm saying, yeah.
God damn it, I did it.
Not Marion. Will you stop with Marion Crane?
I did it again. Wow.
Marion
Ravenwood was lightning in a bottle. We've already established that. They can't match the magic that is Marion Ravenwood in Raiders, but this girl's okay. I mean, I'm not in love with her or anything. I don't think she's an amazing character. She's fine.
I don't think she's an amazing character either, but I like that they made her a Nazi, but they hid it in the first act of the film.
Yeah, I think
kind of the Bond girl thing.
That's kind of my problem with it as well, Sandy. I just think it was revealed too soon.
No, I didn't have a problem with it.
I kind of have a little bit of an issue with it being revealed so soon.
Now that you mention it, I think they did reveal it a little bit too soon. They could have pushed it off a little bit more, but I mean, I don't think it's that big a deal.
I don't know. I don't want them to drag it on too long. I think it's at the end of the first act, really. So, I mean, that's pretty slow.
Yeah.
In the first act, then she's kind of makes the hurt kind of he feels really hurt in the second, and the third act is when now it's coming around to where the story pans out with her. Anyway, but I do really I like her character. Don't get me wrong. Again, Marion, of course, she's the best one out of all the girls. But still, I do.
It makes you wonder how it took them so long to notice a giant X on the ground. And he's like, I don't think you have to go up a floor to see that.
I missed out when he was doing his opening lecture, but I love how his opening lecture is basically like, yeah, all the stuff I do is Indiana Jones. That's not what archaeology is.
X doesn't mark the spot. I love this. Is one of my favorite gags.
I like this gag too, but I just don't. That little metal thing could not smash tile.
Well, he's Indiana Jones. He's a strong guy.
I mean, I don't have a problem with it just because it's funny.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it either.
Plus, it's an old church.
Yeah, exactly, and that thing could be more heavy than we're giving it credit for as well.
And again, maybe it's supposed to for so people can enter.
And it's not like it's breaking the whole tile off. It's just breaking the little chunk.
Yeah, it's a huge chunk. Look how thick that tile is, and that little metal pole. That's like a little air.
And it's a completely different color.
It's what they use at hotels.
And also, it's a completely different color than it was before.
Yeah, there's that. I mean, you guys like rats?
I don't mind rats.
Neither is Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford actually has that pet rat. So again, he's been cool with all the I like to call the creepy crawly scenes. Perfectly fine with all those scenes.
This is actually very, very, very accurate to how Italy is. There's tons of catacombs under Italy, tons of catacombs under France. All kinds of European cities have these kind of catacombs, so it's very accurate.
They definitely took advantage of that here.
Oh yeah. Oh, I love it. This is probably. I'm gonna be honest with you. This is probably my favorite scene in the whole movie.
Really?
Yeah, just because it's the one that feels the most Indiana Jones like.
That'd be an interesting scene for Indy to go as Paris.
We get the arc here a little bit. We get the theme. That's nice.
It's a really fun callback.
Yeah. I don't know, there's just something about Indy in kind of the catacomb setting that I just really love, that really harkens back to Indy at his best.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm really engrossed in this scene in particular.
Spoiler alert for this 30-year-old movie. I like how it makes it look like those guys are the bad guys at the
end.
Right, here we go.
There's a little art reference there. I love it. It's just kind of Indy saying, "Oh yeah, pretty sure." Pretty sure. The Ark Covenant.
I watched Trimortal and let me get sucked into that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's.
And do you know what another thing I like about the scene is? It's the only time we get to see Indy in a suit and tie when he's in a temple.
Yeah,
that's true.
He's like, with the Ark, he's like, been there, done that.
Yep.
I don't know. I appreciate classy-looking Indy in kind of rough and tumble mode.
Yeah. And one of the only times he's been on an adventure without the hat on.
That's what I'm saying. Which kind of makes the scene stand out a little bit more for me.
Suit makes the man.
I love him gloating for a moment about how his father is scared of rats, and Indy isn't. Again, Indy's scared of snakes, but his father's scared of rats. And he said, well, he's just gloating over his father every moment he can.
And snakes eat rats.
Yeah. And also, I do like that it was with the mention of the father. I like that it's also been foreshadowed. Okay, well, it's set up that Elsa, she knows she's worked with his father closely, so they're set up that, okay, these two have been in each other's lives, and... Well,
alright, he had petroleum, like, all over his hand, and how come it's... I'm not gonna question it.
Okay, so here we go. I really, really love how creepy they make this whole thing. It's great.
Because they see him crawling over the legs and everything.
Oh, it's wonderful. They do such a good job with it.
And relax, these are all lab rats. They're all cool.
Actually, they're actually quite. They said there's actually quite a few mechanical ones in there.
Well, that's when they start letting them on fire. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised they used them in this scene also.
I've got to admit, you guys, the rats I would probably have a problem with. Like, seeing that many, I mean, it depends on how many are animatronic or not, but seeing that many live rats and kind of having to, like, having them crawl all over you, like, this
I gotta imagine they have rat insurance on this movie, because, I mean, if you step on a rat, it's probably troublesome. He almost steps on a rat right there.
Oh, God. Okay, this is one of the most disquieting moments in an Indiana Jones movie for me. Just, I don't know, there's something about, like, the multitude of the rats that just really creeps me out, but in a good, like, kind of fun Halloween haunted house sort of way, though.
Come on, let's get knee-deep in petroleum. Fun.
Yep.
It is kind of a mistake, like right there when the fire is kind of dripping from the thing and it doesn't let the rest get on fire. I'll give you that one, but...
Right.
But, you know, they can't really plan for that one, you know.
Oh, that's weird. Maybe it just landed on like the one piece of water that doesn't have.
Well, I mean, we see it landing on the stone little crypt thing here.
Well, maybe it just lands on multiple parts that don't have a lot of petroleum in it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to make it seem logical where it's.
Yeah, I was assuming it drops on something other than petroleum. You can't really see the petroleum in all the shots. So just go with it.
I was just kidding. I was just BSing anyway.
Yeah. So,
Isn't that what you guys do on this podcast?
We try not to.
Well, that's what Dragon doesn't do.
Okay, fair enough.
The shield is the second marker.
Yes, I do love I love these little touches here of archaeology where it's kind of you see stenciling, you know, he's kind of rubbing in the rest of the saying on the shield.
Yeah, that's a good touch. That's great.
Again, I do like there are kind of seeding kind of our father bond here in the show, and yeah, it's a real simple lesson she's kind of communicating into here, at least in its adolescence, is that you know you're a lot like your father now. You're getting excited like he does.
Yeah, he never would have made it past the rats. He's scared to death of them.
He's so excited to gloat about his father, like, oh yeah, he can't do that. But again, these are all mechanical rats. They're right here when they're.
I would assume so. Yeah.
They probably wouldn't light a bunch of real rats on fire.
I love Spielberg in interviews though. He says, "Yeah, I mean, I might be crazy. You know, I might be not a sadist. You know, I'm not going to light rats on fire. Pretty much, just saying, no, I'm not a monster."
But how's the rest of the fire where they are not catching on? Water there not catching on fire?
Oh, I mean, the fires is just
it can't get to the surface.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
I mean, it can't light
God.
Underneath. Ugh.
Oh, so many rats here. Yeah, this is where I'd have a problem with just, like, all those rats falling in and just, like, swimming. Yeah. Okay, this is a great gag. This almost kind of reminds me of something out of the Great Muppet Caper.
Yeah, I love there's these great Spielbergian kind of gags, and there's like the stamp gag, and then you have this gag. These are classic Spielberg.
It's like, hey guys, did you know there's a dead soldier with a clue to the Holy Grail down beneath your feet?
Yeah, but I just love the whole like Venice, and later on like now think something good's happening. Venice.
And this is basically where the James Bond stuff kind of kicks in with this boat chase.
Oh yeah.
And running in heels, take notes, Bryce Still, Dallas Howard.
Well, remember, Elsa Schneider had to go through a jungle full of mud.
So I just want to say, Fez's look cool. Can we agree on that?
Oh yeah, heck yes.
They do. They do.
Why can't more evil organizations wear fezzes? Or
Wes
not evil
Anderson-
organizations,
Wes
why can't more
Anderson has a
protective
great
organizations wear fezzes, you know?
Yeah, they're not evil organizations.
I know, yes, yeah, they're protective organizations.
I love the music in this scene. They have like the mandolin.
Yeah. This is a cool boat. I think it's the first time we've had a boat chase.
Oh yeah, definitely. Very appropriate to have it be in Venice.
Oh, yeah. This is a really fun sequence. Again, I think the action set pieces are great in this movie.
Don't go between them. Go between
them? Are you crazy?
Fun.
I do love kind of the story that unfolds with Kazim coming up. You know, again, the one guy where he's interrogating them, and he's revealed these guys aren't. You know, we instantly assume kind of Bond villains, like, okay, they're the henchmen and the fezzes that are going after our main guy.
Right.
And they're revealed to actually be the Brotherhood of the cruciform sword. You know, the guys that protect the Grail. Dang, it gives them. You feel kind of bad for a few of these guys.
I do feel bad for them. Yes.
Yeah.
But you see, though, they are
That's
more
probably
ready to
the
die.
Indiana Jones deaths I feel the most bad for. I got to be honest with you.
But you do see they are ready to die for it, though, and it was
Yeah,
their own. It was
they
their
are
own
pretty
fault.
hardcore. They are pretty hardcore.
They could have just like said hi or something, but nope.
And at that point, they kind of did bring it upon themselves.
I mean, they lit them on fire without asking questions first. It's on them.
They kind of did bring it upon themselves.
Yeah. I mean, I feel bad for them, but you know what, guys?
Okay,
you gotta fuck it out.
This is really great right here,
Oh,
where the
yeah.
boat's just getting like eaten alive by the rudder.
It's like when the big Nazi bodyguard got eaten in the first one.
A little bit, yeah. It does kind of harken back to that just a bit.
Yeah, this is
Except
Batman.
Except it's a boat prop instead of a plane prop.
Yeah. This is kind of a Batman sequence here where Indiana Jones gets interrogating the crap out of this guy.
Definitely like a ticking clock right there.
And it's such a cool little thing to get rigged here so we can destroy. No, these guys are far away. Like, they made it look like it was a lot closer than it
Oh,
was.
I'm sure, yeah.
It looks so convincing, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure that was just such a fun thing to film. Like, that's one of the things I would have liked to be a fly on the wall for. Is just the destruction of this boat.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I really do love this Kazim character. He's like, I'm ready to die, are you? My soul's prepared, are you? Again, we see this guy's not all bad, and he's kind of redoes his button and he walks off. And it's a real classy guy.
It's a shame to see him die later, though.
Yeah, it is. I just love the fact he even kind of talked it over with the guy, and instead of this guy ended up being killed right off the bat, right on the spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he helps him out even. He says, okay, well, you're not after the Grail, which, of course, Indy is going to be after the Grail, so...
Right.
Well, not right now, but later on that would present a problem. That's why they killed him off beforehand, because they didn't want good old Kazim fighting Indy.
That would have been an interesting little subplot to have, is that character who's kind of like, no, don't go chasing after the Grail now. Don't do it, Indy. Don't do it.
Not that they really know what Indy and his father are doing, but I mean, they're also trying to protect the Grail. That's
Right.
In that case, God be with you and your quest. Again, really nice.
Yeah, you're right. It's a nice little character beat there.
And again, I think it's also a really cool idea, just the Grail having these devoted protectors.
Yeah.
I wonder how true is that. I wonder if there's actually an organization like that for real.
Well, I've seen many shows where this have kind of these devout kind of protector guys. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that's drawn from something in real life.
It'd be kind of like the Knights Templar, I guess.
Something like that, yeah.
Except, not so crazy.
I mean, I have mixed... I kind of like the guys, but I have mixed feelings about them. I mean, they're protecting the Cup of Christ, yet they're trying to kill people they haven't even met. they're trying to kill people in general.
Well, that's true. It's true. But again, they're figuring it's evil trying to get their hands on the cup. That's again. They're not asking questions. There's like tons of crazy stuff done in the name of religion, but let's not dwell on that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not exactly against the Bible and Word of Christ to commit murder, to kill people. It's like you shall not commit murder. Okay, it's like thou shalt not commit murder, thou shalt not kill. I mean, they're killing, they're not necessarily committing murder.
Right.
Well, they set the petroleum on fire with intent of killing them. That's kind of murder.
You know, there's a line between murdering and killing. I don't know if they cross.
Again, they're not talking it over first. I would just feel these guys. Again, they're just kind of jumping the gun.
So tried using machine guns on them for Pete's sake.
There's all.
I think that's murder.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it might have been. I mean, I just know there's a difference. They know it's like thou shalt not commit murder, but I know there's a difference between killing and murder. So I don't know.
I don't know. What it all boils down to is I think these guys are kind of lost.
Well, maybe they maybe they were just told to protect.
Maybe that's kind of the point, Sandy. Perhaps.
I think what they were just told protect it at any cost, even that includes killing, or maybe.
Yeah.
Probably. But I think we're dwelling on the wrong thing. So let's.
anyways, so what's going on right now?
Yeah, this is a really clever setup here. On the rewatch, it holds up a lot better because I was rewatching this. Today for this, and a little bit where she says, "Well, you had the book," and you kind of don't say, "Oh my God, yeah." She's the minute she hears it, says, "Okay, I know exactly what I need to do then." He's got the book. I mean, I'll take it when the moment's right. And I will say this: I think these two have really good chemistry in this film.
I mean, certainly better than Willie for sure.
Yeah, I mean, come on, even
the Venice setting really tops it off too.
Yeah. And also, again, I would say this. So I would maybe make the argument that she's most attractive out of the indie girls. Not the best character, but most attractive.
No, not the best character. Definitely not.
I know, not the best, but still a decent character though. Decent character, best looker.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't really think. Is the Nazi thing really necessary?
Yeah, it's kind of, she has to betray Indiana Jones, but everyone's kind of they're always associated. Again, we have this throughout the thing where we have people associating with Nazis even though they don't believe with them. So no one's really. None of our bad guys are actually Nazis. They're all just the Nazis have the means to do our stuff. We'll just use the Nazis.
Then they love each other in the end, but she has to go somehow.
She does have a very satisfying death. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
Well, of course. Not exactly a graceful end either.
No.
And she's the only leading lady that died.
Yeah, definitely.
Unfortunately, not Willie Scott.
I would have gladly traded Willie Scott for her.
Yeah.
That's a death.
But yeah, Elsa was complex, and I respected that. They went the actual Bond girl route. The fact that the girl turned out being bad, but she still had a thing for Bond.
Oh, this is like my favorite scene here.
Yes, this is such a great
One of my
scene.
favorites.
Again, Ilsa at least got to do some comedy. Marion's usually she's in the action with him, but she didn't have a lot of comedy time with a deal like this.
Well, yeah, but I think Marion was just a funny character in her own right, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I'm saying it's different. That's all.
Yeah.
The fake Scottish accent is amazing.
Yes, emulating his father too. It's really funny.
It's kind of funny.
Here to view the tapestries.
It's kind of funny though.
What?
Sean Connery is actually Scottish.
Well, yeah.
Kind of funny though.
Bond.
I mean, he obviously has more of a British accent, but he's actually from Scotland.
Yeah.
No, I'd say his accent is pretty distinctively Scottish. That's why it's got his kind of the.
If you were a Scottish lord, then I am Mickey Mouse. It's like the best line in the movie.
So, by the way, with this, I think it's a great location too, and I think it's the closest Lucas is ever going to get to that haunted house thing. Because it's a castle. Because he wanted like a haunted castle, I should say, instead of haunted house, but like a haunted. It's the closest thing he's going to get. It's actually like a castle. There's all these secret passageways and everything. It's really close.
Nazis. Why did it have to be Nazis?
I would also wager to say that Temple of Doom, in its own respect, was kind of a haunted castle.
That's what I'm saying. They're both. Like, this one's an actual castle. The other one's like a set location, like you're going for. So I mean, they're both.
Right.
That's the thing is Nazis. Why did it have to be Nazis?
No, it's Nazis. I hate these guys.
the whole German or Austrian Czech just style of this building. I love this set. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, this castle set is awesome. Again, I'm telling you, the sets in this movie are great.
What if they actually filmed in a castle for this?
But probably. I mean,
I think it
the exterior is probably a real castle. It's a question if the interiors are or not. Like, the foyer is probably the interior.
I have to tell you, that place does have some good tapestries.
I mean, again, look at the color palette in this movie is great. Like, when he's going down into the rain, like, these are beautiful shots. The rain, the lightning, it all looks. I think it's one of the best the best shot of the Indiana Jones movies. No, again, not excluding Raiders. Raiders is perfect.
Yeah, I mean, it does kind of have more of a feel of modern cinema than the other two do, just because it was released like 8 years apart from Raiders, so it is a bit more modern than Raiders was.
What a
I love
great
the shadow on the wall.
Indy's father.
Yeah.
Yes, it is a wonderful intro.
Big reveal. Junior.
Yes,
sir. Yes, sir.
It is you, Junior.
Don't call me that, please.
What are you doing here? And again, I love this. Is right off the bat, you kind of know everything you need to know about the dynamic. It's he's valuing archaeology a little bit more than the son here. But again, the dialogue is so well crafted between these two. It's the banter they got and everything. It's so great.
I'll never forgive myself.
And I think also
he worries more about the vase than the fact that he just hit his own son on the head.
Exactly, and I also think this might connect to some kind of maybe some theories that have gone on about Marion and her father and stuff. Is that with Indy's father, kind of like Marion's father, the archaeology has kind of consumed their lives, and basically they represent kind of what Indy could become if his lifestyle wasn't kind of a hands-on adventure. Especially mainly with Indy's father, it's kind of like Indy could become his father if he didn't go out in the field.
Daddy issues.
Better safe than sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, Spielberg I bet Spielberg just loved writing this movie because Spielberg loves his daddy issues. Absolutely.
Again, she cares more about artifacts than Indy at times, and it shows. Again, it's not that he's neglectful; he's just really focused on
But through the library they found it, but they also could have found it by going down a sewer.
I love how Sean Connery in this movie, he's so intelligent, but at the same time he's also kind of clueless.
Yeah, it's like he's so unexperienced in the field.
He's not street smart. That's what it is. He's just totally not street smart.
Yeah. But again, he's excellent. He's the perfect guy you want to have on your side, kind of giving you the facts going into stuff.
Absolutely.
I guess the idea is kind of he's treated India like a student instead of a son over the years, which kind of led to the distance thing. But he kind of provided him with the tools to learn. It's all been on Indy's shoulders, and whether not talking about he's a son or anything.
Yeah, it's a really good dynamic.
But again, I love that his moments of longing for kind of like the father-son thing aren't exactly again being with Indy, more like making the discovery with Indy. Again, the archaeology of the son. Just like, I wish I could have been there with you, Indy. I wish I could have been there with you, Junior.
Yeah, right, and it's kind of more about his own kind of selfish experience than it is about actually sharing the moment with him.
Exactly. Again, even if it's just sharing a moment, sharing a moment with his brother.
And Dr. Jones? Yes.
Again, I just think the comedy in this movie is fantastic. And this moment here, and the editing's really good too. Like we kind of cut the Indy's reactions to it just accentuates the timing of you think my son be stupid? That's stupid. They bring my dad here. Just you seeing these reaction here, and then it's I should put it in better off. It's a Marx Brothers.
You should have said Marx Brothers. I mean, I don't see what the big deal is over this. I mean, the diary. I mean, they find the temple or whatever it is. They find the Grail if they can even get to it, but then most of them die because they're inexperienced in finding the right one.
Well, he doesn't. He doesn't know that part though. He doesn't know you have to choose the right. Yeah, he doesn't know you have to choose the right Grail. At least we don't know that much. I would assume he doesn't know. It seems kind of like a little curveball you get thrown at the very end because you can only go so far with the research.
Right.
And in this scene, to me, this struck me as so clever that Indy's father tells him directly, "Oh no, she's a Nazi. Don't trust her." And he knows actually from experience.
But should have listened to Belloc.
It plays like it is such a clever twist, I think, of just putting Indy in a position of trusting his father, his instincts. His instincts are wrong in this case. It's the most Bond girl like you have in a situation like this. Well, she's working for the bad guy.
What a twist!
With the twist, da-da.
And Connery brought this idea of Indy's father, having done all the stuff, basically done a lot of stuff Indy's done, but better, at least in his own way, before Indy has done it. So basically, kind of like again the whole she talks in her sleep gag. It came purely from that whole fact that Indy's father had around with the girl before Indy did.
Right.
He slept with a Nazi.
Yeah.
Yep. Sleeping with the enemy.
You got to remember, Howard should have ended his pointing this out, but they're absolutely right. That she knew that Indy was the son of this guy, and she still went through with it. So
Yeah, that's kind of on her. That's her.
that is on her. I'm just saying that.
It's pretty sick.
It is pretty sick.
She talks in her sleep.
Oh God.
What else does she say?
And of course, the great thing about this is it definitely calls to mind Bond being the ladies' man.
Yep. And this is a great kind of Bond villain kind of reveal. Like, hey, he comes out from under the chair, from the other side of the chair.
All he needs is to stroke his cat.
Yes. Oh, it's a PG-13 movie.
Oh God.
What do you mean stroke the cat? Pet cat?
It's not. Never mind.
Okay. Anyways. Heyo.
Let's see. So Donovan's absolutely.
Hi, everybody.
Yes, Donovan's the villain with class, but without being over the top, and I do really like that about his character. He's not like an over-the-top Bond villain. He just fits just right in the kind of mold we want.
Yeah, like I said, I don't necessarily think Donovan is as... He doesn't have as big of a screen presence as Kali Ma does, or Ram, or whatever it is.
His character isn't as big as like Belloc or Tote or Todd, but he's simple. He's a simple guy. He's looking for what he wants. He's just gonna get it.
It's clear, direct, and to the point. He's got the resources.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with him. I think he's a very well crafted character for sure.
He does have a very memorable ending.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It's a very bad choice for him, isn't it?
He made a poor choice.
Oh, God.
You chose poorly.
This is great. This he's building up Marcus Brody, my friend, my colleague. He knows how to do this. Right now he's gone. He's so skilled at blending, and you'll never find this as sticking out like the source.
Does anybody here speak English? Excuse me, English, please.
Then we have one of the best parts of the Indy franchise return.
Just seriously, every time I watch this movie and the scene comes up, I'm always like, yes, rejoice!
And you know what's even better? Sala has a fun tie.
Hey, he has a fez.
Yes, a fez and a fun tie.
And he actually lasts through the entire movie.
Yes. And again, this scene is priceless with Sala here, just him just casually, just trying to distract the guy saying, run. Just constantly. This is why Marcus probably didn't go with Indian Raiders, Marcus is not the guy you want to bring with you on these excursions.
Why did Indy say that he could blend in?
Well, no, he's trying to throw him off. He's trying to say, oh no, you guys don't even bother looking for him.
Well, I know that, but it's kind of obvious that he wouldn't. It's not an obvious. It's not
They don't know that.
And I like what Sala does. Have you read the paper?
Run. He's still standing there. What a rube.
The paper. I love the paper gag. They incorporate a lot more comedy into the action in these movies.
Oh yeah, poor Sala here. He's trying his best to help out, and then he's ready to fight off the bad guys. Nazi palm tree.
Oh no.
Nazi palm tree.
Yeah.
It's like,
poor Sala.
Sala, you done goofed.
But I tried my best, Indy. Your friend is just very slow in the action scenes. And this is a great setup. Our father-son character kind of forced the bond because they're tied to two chairs together.
I would say this might be probably the most iconic out of all the scenes in this movie.
Dragon bond together.
That is pretty funny. I like how this one Nazi guy comes back, kind of our Nazi colonel here. Say if you're gonna have like a Nazi, it's gonna good to keep it consistent. Like you don't need to remember like, oh, man, there's all sorts of Nazis. No, there's like the blonde here, kind of the Aryan-looking Nazi.
Isn't he the guy that's eventually in the tank?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's him.
That's what I
Same guy.
thought.
Well, at least the beginning of the tank scene. I forget what happens. Oh yeah, he fights. Yeah, he's on the whole tank scene. I'm sorry. Yeah, he fights him. I love the wardrobe in this movie too. Again with the Nazi unit, like kind of the full dress Nazi uniforms, and now we got kind of her in this nice little silky number. Look at the look Harrison Ford gives him.
Yes. And then Sean Connery just being like, "Oh boy."
He's like, really?
This is funny. That's how we say goodbye. Oh, she even bites the lip. Oh,
Bites the lip.
Sorry. Anyway, so like when Nazi comes over, he says, "That's the Austrian way we say goodbye," and this is the German way we say goodbye.
That's how we say goodbye in Germany.
We don't like nookie in Germany. Just the head bump too is pretty funny.
Head bang.
Yep.
So would you guys say this is probably the most famous scene in the film? Indy and Sean Connery tied together?
Well, that and the planes and the dirigible scene.
Yeah, my favorite's the dirigible scene. I mean, the most iconic would probably be the third act. I gotta tell you, like the Grail scene. That's the most iconic part.
He got lost in his own music.
I'd probably go with the dirigible and the car chase.
Maybe it's just because this scene was
there's a lot of iconic pieces in this movie. I mean,
well, this scene was kind of the big
trailer moment.
It was a trailer moment, yes, but it was also the big center point of the back of the VHS for this movie as well. So that's mostly where I remember it from.
Right.
And that's why they have lighters nowadays that. And that's why nowadays they have lighters that shut off if you let go.
Right.
Because of this movie, people. Because of this movie.
Oh boy.
That's a really dry room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's making a. Let's get out of here. The world's on fire.
Amateur.
So yeah, this trapdoor scene. I mean, we're eventually gonna get to it with the trapdoor, but it's just really, really fun stuff.
And again, some fun haunted castle kind of stuff. I mean, basically castle setting stuff of like
sure.
twists and turns and secret passageways. This sounds like such kind of a Duke of Hazzard's line. They're just saying like, there's war. They're declaring war on the Jones boys.
Those Jones boys better watch out because old Boss Donovan is on their tail.
Better get some fire extinguishers fast.
Oh god.
Get a little warm in this heartwarming father-son journey. Head to the fireplace.
Yeah,
Also,
and Dragon, like you said, this is definitely kind of like a cliche of the kind of like I want to say like maybe the Dracula's castle stuff like that is maybe something they were going for.
Well, it's all like a
aching back
Frankenstein.
to.
Like, there's always kind of a secret.
Of course. I love the timing on this. Just no one notices them at first. No one notices them at first. First rotation.
Nazis are known to be distracted.
Oh god. And I love how for just a second it looks like Harrison Ford's going to be able to charm his way out of it. Just for
the
a
two
second.
of them, James Bond and Indiana Jones, might be able to charm their way out of it.
Oh my god. Oh, that's wonderful. We get an intolerable count in this movie, by the way.
It's intolerable.
Intolerable. That's a great catchphrase.
It's just intolerable.
Oh boy.
It's such like a great buddy comedy premise, Look, now these two guys are going to stuck together on the rest of this journey.
I love this whole kind of team up thing where they trick the villains right here. That's great. That's a great dynamic. Yeah.
That's using your head.
Come on, Dad!
I love it when Harrison Ford gets so into it, he's like shouting top of his lungs at his father. Like later on, there's a great bit where he says, "I know, Dad."
Right.
I remember it from the trailer. I love it from the trailer. The whole like, "I know."
It makes you feel like their father and son
God.
they were just stuck in a movie together.
Yeah, this is a cool stairway. It's the fact that this little falls all the way down. His father's gonna be walking. The solution presents itself.
Oh, this is always a bit that really stuck out to me as a kid.
Yeah, this is clever.
I think it would have been a little more clever if they would have just waited for the Nazis to actually get on the boats and, kind of clear out before they went on the motorcycle. But
Yeah.
still, like, in premise, it's a very, very good idea.
It's great physical, like a lot of improvised physical comedy too, like throwing the bag and throwing it back at him.
So here, this is what I'm saying. It's like the Nazis are all getting on the boat. Just wait a minute. Just wait a minute for them to clear out.
Well, how
Yeah.
how would they know if they can't see anything inside the box?
Well, because they can just listen for the boat taking off.
I guess. But they're kind of probably in a hurry and want to get out of there as soon as possible.
So what I'm hearing is you hate the motorcycle chase. That's what I'm hearing, Tiki.
No, I don't hate the motorcycle chase. I
No,
like
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I think it would have been even better if the Nazis would have actually taken off on the boat, though.
You could have them chasing them on the boats while they're in the motorcycle.
Because really, it's a minor little plot hole. It's a minor nitpick. But really, it's like if they would have just waited another minute in that box, then this whole chase doesn't even need to happen.
But let me say this though: this chase 1 is awesome. 2, we look how great are sidecars with motorcycles. 3rd,
I love Sean Connery in the sidecar. Yes, absolutely.
I was a big Batman fan. The sidecar also really cool. Also, I'm pretty sure the Captain America: First Avenger took a lot from this scene when they had their Captain America motorcycle bit in that film. I wouldn't be surprised.
This is definitely the most World War II out of all the Indiana Jones movies, so I can see that.
Yeah, I'm just saying, there's that great Bill Cap has this kind of his iconic motorcycle, fighting Hydra agents.
Right,
Joust. Time to joust.
Yep. And with jousting with a flag.
And Indy wins.
USA! USA!
Go, give him a gold medal. They both have a penchant for hats, don't they?
Yeah.
This guy's just showing off.
Hey, go for your gun when you're that close. Oh, wait, you don't have a gun? Well, that's an... Oh, wait, there you go.
Oh, boy.
Oh.
You think you would have thought of that one earlier.
I once saw the Mythbusters actually test that.
Yes, I remember that.
He's just checking the time.
I love these moments where where Indiana looks to his father and says, "Are you proud of me, Dad?" Moments, and he does not. There's these little moments of pause where he looks, a little smile, like, "Huh? Appreciation? Nope, not proud of me." Here we have kind of the big crux of emotion thing going on here.
Yeah.
And again, there is some hinting at kind of the sad tragedy in Senior here being obsessed in his pursuit of the Holy Grail, where to the point where his wife didn't even have the heart to distract him from his pursuit that she was getting sick, and that's a sad tragedy.
Yeah, this is one thing I'll definitely grant the movie Dragon. The movie, out of all the Indiana Jones movies, it absolutely gives Indy the most character development, for sure, by a pretty large margin.
And also, you probably read in the rest, kind of what led to Rift. One, they're not really getting along that much because they're on kind of he's obsessed with this thing, and his obsession also kind of cost them their mother.
Right.
I love this though. He does have some fatherly moments where he slaps him. That's for blasphemy. And we know Sean Connery likes to hit people. Especially with an open hand.
Oh, God.
Well, he does.
I would take a slap from Sean Connery.
And an exaggerated sound effect to go as a debut.
Definitely cartoon. Definitely more cartoonish than the others.
No.
I would say this film definitely does have a more lighthearted tone than the other two, which is kind of one of the... I'm not going to say it's a distraction, because it's definitely kind of just a different flavor. But I don't know. For me personally, just on a subjective level, I do like the Last Crusade kind of like uber dark tone more than this. But it definitely has its place. I mean, I think Raiders was the one that hit the perfect middle ground. And this is definitely very much more in the whimsical kind of... father-son road trip kind of thing. It is essentially a father-son road trip to a certain extent.
I like the design of Berlin here.
Oh boy, we're about to get into, in a little while, we're about to get into the big guy himself.
Yeah.
I believe Ronald Lacey was actually one of the German officials up there in the podium.
Oh, let's see. I can't make him out.
So,
I think he's listed in the credits, but
I just like this whole sequence.
Yeah.
The boarding
This is just like such a fun kind of like, I could totally see Hitler's signature in the journal being like in a museum as an artifact.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like an interesting like backstory for, like it's a story that Indy would tell his grandkids, but within the context of a bigger story that's going on.
Yeah.
It's just kind of funny that that's the diary they're looking for.
So there's Ron Lacey with the glasses that are shining.
Yeah, I see it now, yeah.
Who are you talking about?
Toad, the guy in the black with the ninja chucks, with the nunchuck hanger.
Wait, he said his name, not Toad. He said his real name.
Yeah.
I didn't know who played him.
Oh. Yeah.
Anyway, so the book burning scene, again, it's a real thing that's happened. It's kind of nice to put India kind of point in history where and I love that later on it's a great little callback where Indy's father thinks the Nazis are morons for burning books.
Right.
It is an intense sequence here. Indy's feeling very hurt from what Elsa did earlier on. He's even kind of putting that choker out there. And again, just saying, like, you think I work with these Nazis? No, I mean, you think I actually can buy into what these Nazis do and burning books and everything? No. I believe in the Grail. It's all about the Grail.
Yeah, I mean, that is one of the things with Indy, is that he kind of toes the line a little bit with how he treats women in some respects.
It is kind of a Bogart scene for him, though. He's really,
absolutely.
I've been really hurt by I guess more Casablanca than Multi-Five is more at the end, but it's really kind of Casablanca. He's really been hurt by this woman.
Casablanca is definitely kind of more about the old wounds being reopened and everything like that.
Yeah. This scene is just great.
Oh my god, yeah, the timing on it is wonderful.
So it's just the Indy's reaction of like, oh my god, I'm face to face with Hitler, with the Fuhrer. I just
And he's thinking such a clever way out of it. It's so good.
An autograph.
I just think it's like he's just still stunned of what to do because the irony bounds really. He has the books in front of him. I don't think he planned it. I just think it's like, oh my, it's the book. He just found the book. He just has his ego. Like, I'm going to sign this book. He's so dumbfounded, like, what's happening here?
Like I said, my favorite part of this is just like, it's totally like a story that Indy would tell time and time and time again, just inserted into the context of a larger story.
Yeah, in some way, again, it's kind of some great logical logic. Well, if Indy is kind of placed, this fictional character is kind of placed in the history, and he's in the same area as Hitler, what if he kind of bumped into him?
Right. And they don't play Hitler as a major character or anything, obviously. It's a nice...
It's a little chance encounter.
Yeah.
It's like this fun kind of pseudo-fiction, Like, what if that happened?
It's kind of funny. I like how they don't point out how he's the total bad guy of this. Like, sure, he leaves the Nazis, but he's not.
Again, if anything, throughout all these films, the Nazis are just kind of patsies.
Right.
They're just kind of like they're the muscle that everyone kind of goes to. Well, we need henchmen. Who we got? Nazis? Okay, let's hire them.
Yeah, the Nazis are kind of like the Stormtroopers, which, of course, Stormtroopers based on Nazis, so it's all kind of full circle with Lucas there.
Well, it kind of makes sense. Spielberg's not really a fan of Nazis. Then again, who is?
Right.
Look at Schindler's List. Nazis really not in the best of light.
Well, yeah.
For obvious reasons. Again, you never want to have a compelling.
Yeah, I mean, that just gets like an understatement, Dragon. Schindler's List, the Nazis aren't really the nicest of people.
Yeah.
I always thought it was kind of funny a Jewish guy always making movies about Nazis.
That's what I'm saying. I love that he kind of makes fun of Nazis in his movies. It's like in a way, like the Nazis are never the actual threat. It's always like a guy outsmarting the Nazis constantly, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Like the bad guys even outsmart the Nazis. Anyway, this is my favorite scene in the whole film here. The whole, my favorite bit here with the no ticket.
No ticket. That's my favorite line.
Yeah, it's so great here. And by the way, you'll notice Sean Connery's reading that paper upside down if you look.
Well, if that was done that's probably done intentionally too.
Maybe it's the show is nervous, but
Right.
It's kind of hard to tell.
yeah, might have been just there are film mistakes. Maybe that's just a mistake. You never know. Anyway, right here, it's the react. I remember telling you about this before, dudes. Can you get you in the spirit for the movie? It's this no ticket part right here. Just the it's the horrified reaction by the people of like looking at him. He does this awesome thing. He throws a Nazi into luggage. He's fun. He's a little prideful of him.
No ticket.
No ticket. Everyone instantly pulls out the tickets, and I love that. Also shows up in Dogma. So Silent Bob does that in Dogma. He just says no ticket.
Right.
One of his few lines, no ticket.
He's just shouting in German.
Yeah.
I do like how that guy is kind of like the big running, he's kind of like the boss at the end of every level.
He's also kind of like the other German guy from the Raiders film, the other kind of guy reporting in.
Right.
And anyway, by the way, this is a fun fact. I don't know if you guys know this or not. They're not wearing pants in this scene.
Oh boy. Hey.
Because, no, I'm serious. Sean Connery, he sweats on set, so he's wearing underwear, of course. I'm just saying he's playing with that. As he puts in, I played it without my trousers.
There they are, right there.
Well, when it gets to a close-up, he's not wearing pants in some shots. Because he sweats profusely, that's the rationale.
I sweat profusely.
And because he... I'm now thinking of the Courage Cowardly Dog episode because
God.
No, but like in this, this radio you don't see under the table because it would be kind of weird. So he didn't have any wear pants either because he didn't want to just play it with a guy without pants on.
Or not wearing pants.
It's absurd, but it's really funny.
I sweat profusely. I sweat profusely. I don't need to wear any pants.
And again, it's an interesting idea. It's kind of like everything a kid would think they would want at the time is kind of always feeding into, like, kind of a distant, parents not making rules for you, let them be really independent, but again, without a father.
Yeah, it is a good dynamic.
Like, I taught you self-reliance.
Yeah.
Like, but the cost of the love of your son.
And again, this film really is kind of a boy's fantasy of kind of reconnecting with his father through kind of an action adventure.
Well, it's more kind of Spielberg's fantasy.
That's what I'm saying. He's the boy, without saying it so on the nose. Yeah.
This is kind of like Spielberg's ultimate like daddy picture.
Yeah, but it's good. It's like I would watch this on Father's Day. It's a good movie.
It is a good Father's Day movie. I will admit that. It's a very, very, very good Father's Day movie.
I do love the thing he points out there. What do we have? Yeah, now, what do you want to talk about? What's going on? There's actually nothing at the moment. I'm reading the diary here. I do love the little visual cues. I forgot about these visual cues of like how Indy figures out turning the Zeppelin around. Right here, that's a clever thing that how he realizes that. Yeah, we're definitely turning around here. And also, again, Zeppelins are just plain cool. If we've learned nothing from dirigibles and Zeppelins and blimps are just so darn cool. And this is a Nazi Zeppelin too. Look at that.
I don't think the Nazi thing necessarily makes it cooler.
I'm saying you rarely see that these days.
I remember some people like trying to say that was the Hindenburg that they're on.
No, it's not the Hindenburg.
No. Otherwise, it would have blown up.
I know, but some people like try to say that was the Hindenburg.
You're full of crap.
I mean, the Hindenburg was with them too, so I don't know. So,
that's kind of cool.
The Hindenburg was that in America or?
Yeah, I want to say it was America.
Okay.
The point is, I like what the Zeppelin has. Like, you know, being a Nazi, Zeppelin has like a plane ready for battle right under it. Though I mean, that kind of makes sense. Like, yeah, so they would have it the ready.
Yeah, either that was somebody who thought blimps were called Hindenburgs. I don't know.
Oh yeah, a plane with a machine gun conveniently under the blimp.
Yeah. This is great, the whole 11 o'clock thing. He's really not good for field work. He just... What happens at 11 o'clock? Again, I think we've all been here, is frustratedly explaining things to our fathers at some point in life. You know, just saying, no, it's this. You don't understand.
Yeah, my mom and parents are learning how to use phones and computers. So yeah, I can relate to that.
And like this lovey kind of covers his folly here, saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, son, I don't know how to tell you this, but they got us, more or less. Son, I'm sorry.
They got us."
It's also kind of funny that the most kind of non-field capable guy was James Bond. Also kind of like the fun gag too. That's probably why I took on the role, so against type, you know. So.
Yeah.
Imagine you're the farmer that lives in the house. You walk outside and there's a plane smashed into your house.
Well, he's probably dead now.
The farmer?
Well,
I
probably.
think you see him working on the car.
Oh, wait, that's why I didn't know it was the farmer. I just thought it was a... Yeah, well, you're right, it's probably the farmer, yeah. Okay. Well, then again, I mean, he still might be dead. I mean, there's a lot of gunfire going on, I don't know.
And let his goats loose. You let my goats loose.
Yeah, kind of a Hitchcock, some Hitchcockian Northwest references here, perhaps. Just kind of driving with the plane following you real close.
Yeah, I'd be kind of mad.
This is kind of like almost North by Northwest in a little bit of way.
Yeah.
Reminds you of what?
North by Northwest.
The Hitchcock movie.
Yeah. This is cool, and this is a fun gag here. It's like a little casual thing where he looks at him here.
Now this was incredibly hard to shoot, I heard them say.
Yes.
Yeah, well, why would the Nazi fly directly into a tunnel?
Well, it was like too late before we realized where he was going.
He's like, they're going into a tunnel. I should follow in my plane. Or like, could I go over the hill, over the mountain they're going in, or I could follow them through the tunnel.
Well, like Dragon said, I think it was just kind of like he was getting low and he didn't even realize how close to the mountain he was. But yeah, it's kind of funny. It's well timed comedically as well.
I know. I'm not denying its humor. I'm just saying.
And this is great. I'll give a funny story about this. So on the beach here is a really great idea. Now, you'll notice these are plastic seagulls right in that shot there. That's why I'm not doing right now. Here's the thing: you can't train seagulls. Then they had pigeons on the beach to do the flying shots because you'd be from a distance, you couldn't really tell the difference. But then the pigeons wouldn't fly, kind of like the snakes going by the firing raiders. So what they did is they had doves in boxes. They shook them and they released. So when after he does his thing, that's what's flying off. These are like doves.
And that's why they're all blurry like that.
Yeah.
Another Hitchcock reference, perhaps.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, we had the bats as kind of an homage to the birds in Temple of Doom.
No animals were
saying
harmed.
this might be another little, like...
Yeah.
No animals were harmed in the making of this movie.
Oh, this is fun.
Nazis were, but Nazis, but no animals.
This is great acting on Harrison Ford. You're just kind of giving such a prideful look of like, my father, he's full of surprises.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, this is the guy I look up to. A really good kind of father looking up to the son, looking up to the father.
The musical score helps that scene too.
I completely forgot about this scene. I think this scene's great. Where he's basically getting the resources for the rest of the movie here, Donovan, and he's prepared to offer him all this kind of these like Nazi treasures, like all these like fancy kind of probably priceless items. And there's the guy says, "Oh my God, this is like the hottest car in the hottest German car right now. Give me that. Give me that. I'll give you whatever you want." And there's also a kind of a classic kind of vaudevillian gag at the end here. The whole he says, "Give you that, and, all these horses, soldiers, tanks. You're welcome. Tanks, you're welcome."
And then Tank, of course, great setup right there for probably one of the best indie action set pieces.
Rolls-Royce Phantom 2.
Yeah, this is a cool looking car. You gotta give him that.
Yeah, from Strum. Yeah.
And we really gotta bring the Fez back. The Fez just looks so distinct. Even Sala has a Fez of some kind.
Look how tall they are back there.
Yeah.
Give Wes Anderson some credit there, Dragon, because Wes Anderson definitely brought the Fez back, and to a certain extent, if you watch through his movies.
He's kind of slacking off on it now.
And Tanks. You're welcome.
There's Kazim again. Bum, bum, bum.
Planning his attack.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun. Dramatic zoom in for the win.
Man, she has such a. It is very kind of Casablanca-esque her wardrobe here. She's wearing like the kind of the tilted hat. It looks really old school, really nice.
Almost every main character in this movie has a hat.
Oh yeah, hats are important.
Yeah, Sala.
Everyone but Marcus Brody has a hat.
And
Because,
Walter,
he's not as important as the rest of them.
does Walter Donovan have a hat?
Well, he wears a hat in scenes. So
Yeah, he does.
You know. But he takes it off indoors, he's polite.
Even the Nazis have hats.
Well, of course, they all have their funny kind of hats,
I have a tank. Your
I
argument
love
isn't
the
valid.
idea of the tank being like the last boss battle of the indie trilogy.
Yes, this is a World War I tank. That's why it's extra huge, that's why it's really...
It's
And
like,
especially because of the build-up we got from, we got the Muscle Man and the plane from Raiders, and then we have the guy in the minecarts from Temple of Doom, and then now Indy is literally taking on, he went from taking on, tanks of human flesh to literal tanks. It's great.
and it's like, I have a tank. Your argument is now invalid.
I have a tank. Well, we have a Connery.
Tanks.
And I just love that kind of simple and direct sequences. We're gonna save Marcus Brody, and we gotta get down. We gotta fight a tank to do it. It's really clear cut, and you have this funny thing here, they can see you. They're shooting at our guys. And we have this hysterical Sala bit right here. It says that was my brother-in-law's car. I borrowed that from my brother-in-law. Right when it's about to hit you.
God.
Right.
Where?
Oh.
Man, did it go above them or did it go through them?
That car belonged to my brother-in-law.
I mean, like,
I think I went above him.
okay, because it was kind of out of range out of the shot, so I was just wondering. I mean, it was probably rigged with explosives to make it look like it was hit, but still.
It looked pretty good.
Yeah, looked convincing enough. But you could tell, but you could tell the explosion came from beneath instead of above.
All right. So I like how Kazim here. He's really, he's helping out along with the rest of our our Fez Grail Guardians. Again, it's like he's like, I'm not arguing. I'm going to use him as cover so we can save Brody.
Indy always finds allies in the strangest places.
Yeah.
Yeah. And ironically enough, allies that are probably trying to kill him when they first meet up.
True.
Basically.
I have to imagine that's the quality that Indiana Jones shares with Han Solo.
I love the little detail that they have the old style grenades with the sticks you throw. They used to throw sticks with grenades at the end of them, so you get some distance instead of before you bite the thing and you throw it.
Right. Yeah, really cool technology at play. You're right. Really
I love the whole
cool.
no camels gag, and I love that it says, "I told you that's to pay my brother-in-law back for the compensate my brother-in-law for the car."
Well, I wonder why Indy doesn't want camels.
Well, because they're slow. He needs fast horses.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at the look on her, Elsa's face, because she remembers this guy, and she's, I'm sure, feeling pity for him.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right, Sandy. You're right. That is a good moment. That is a good bit of acting right there. It does give a little bit of humanity to Elsa's character.
It's a very
Or-
small thing, but I like it. Donovan wears like a little Nazi pin. Looks really kind of a classic Nazi. You know, says, well, I'm working with the Nazis. He got a little pin.
Feel bad for Kazim. He died too soon.
True. There's a little bit of camaraderie here between.
Well, at least he got a lot more screen time than the waiter from Temple of Doom.
Yes. Woo.
The waiter.
Yeah, woo.
Oh yeah, woo. Yeah, right.
Woohoo.
This is great here, where he's insulting the guy here as he's like Sean Connery slaps people. You don't slap Sean Connery. You don't.
Oh yeah, just Sean Connery's just pissed off reaction.
He stops and he just like says, "You Nazi." Maybe you know if you.
No. Like I repeat, folks, you do not slap Sean Connery. Once again, you do not slap Sean Connery.
Tells me that goose-stepping morons like you should try reading books instead of burning them. Awesome, just really cool. The Other Jones! That's a cool introduction. The Other Jones!
Junior.
Good cue to the main theme right there.
Yep. I said no camels!
Oh god. Oh, poor Sala. He's just wrangling all these camels around, and now he doesn't even want them.
Anyway, also, this scene, because there's so many fun things to this action sequence, and a lot of fun like improvised bits that came up with on the day. It was scheduled for a 2.5-day shoot, but it ended up being 8 days because they just came out having so much fun with the sequence.
I could see that. And
I guess the goal set with this scene was Spielberg was trying to kind of recreate the magic of trying to top in some way the car chase from Raiders, and I'm saying it holds up to it. I'm not. It's kind of hard to rank.
Which honestly, Dragon to me kind of does make it a little bit derivative of Raiders in a way that Temple of Doom isn't. I'm not gonna say it's not a fun sequence. I have a lot of fun watching it. It's just not as creative as some of the stuff from Temple of Doom.
I think this is very creative. Look at this.
Let's take in Dragon. How can you fault this one as a tank?
I mean, the desert is like a big battlefield.
Yeah, it's a big battlefield. There's a lot of horses. He's defeating this tank in various ways. It's very much a boss battle. It's a cool boss battle.
Oh, it's absolutely the boss battle.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I think it's very different. It feels different than the one from Raiders. I think it's at the same time. It's not too. I'm just saying it's like a similar setup. Okay, it's a fun kind of high speed action sequence, and Indy has to kind of accomplish a goal. And the first one, just getting his father and Marcus out of the tank. But and there's a lot more.
That's very clear cut.
Loops.
Sorry to bring this up again, but this scene, this was also inspired. It's also inspired something in Uncharted 3.
Yes.
Right.
Riding on horseback, attacking a caravan.
Sure.
And here, Indy goes up against his Nazi foe here. The kind of our Nazi colonel.
Well, you know how you compare the Nazis to stormtroopers earlier? These Nazis really can't aim either.
That's very true.
Plus, he stops them with a rock.
I will give this guy credit, though. This guy survives like a large part of the movie. It's impressive. He has an impressive run. For
General?
The henchman.
Oh yeah. He also gets a costume change. Rarely do you get a costume change.
Right.
What happened?
He was in the black gear. Now he's in the kind of the other Nazi suit. He had a costume change. Rarely can you say the side villain characters get costume changes.
Yeah, plus Indy stops him with a rock.
Yes.
That would not stop it. I mean, to be able to blow up things, it would not be stopped by a rock.
All right, suspension of disbelief. All right.
I know.
Well, I think at least it'd be able to jam the ammo.
What time are you guys at?
1:30.
1:31. Yeah.
1:31.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
we're past that now. 1:31:07. Somewhere around there.
1:31:11.
Yeah, and counting. So tank stuff going on here. A lot
Not
of
tank from not Brad Garrett from an extremely goofy movie, but
Oh no.
One-way trip to nowhere.
yeah.
It was a fun fight here on top of this tank, and again, it's Indy. Again, it feels very serialist, but on a bigger budget. It's kind of like a really dangerous version of kind of the movie series they're going for, where Indy's like he's on the side there, he's like he's about to be crushed by rocks, he's just kind of caught in between the thing coming up and right. Oh, there's something Deadpool got.
Yeah, definitely a Deadpool moment.
Yeah, Deadpool. Well, at least Deadpool borrowed from the best. I mean, come on, shooting three guys, one bullet.
Right.
It's pretty awesome.
Yep.
Now, is this film PG-13?
Yes, this is PG-13.
Okay,
This is years after the Doom thing. So.
Okay, right.
Because Doom was in '84. Then after that movie came out, that's when they did the rating. So this is '89. So
this was a 5-year gap. Like Doom, it was only a 3-year gap. This is a 5-year gap between Doom and Crusade.
I believe so. Yes.
Nazi pizza. Or Nazi pancake. Either way, he's dead.
This is a fun gag with the periscope here.
yeah.
He just gets his face is smashed.
the guys
We got him on the roads. We got him on the roads. Not so fast. Just boom. Hey, guess who I just saw? We have Henry Jones Singing here going for the gun. Kind of
absolutely holding his own in a fight. Very James Bondian. Kind of like an older James Bond.
Yep. Kind of Dark Knight Returns of James Bond.
Yes, in a way, it is very much kind of in that vein.
Well, technically, we already got that with Skyfall, technically.
Oh, the pen here.
Yes, the pen is mightier than the sword.
That's gotta hurt.
Ooh!
Spurts him in the face with the ink. Right in the eye.
I've had things in my eyes similar to that. Is not pleasant.
Yeah, I like that. Only Marcus Brody would put the pen is mightier than the sword reference.
I think Brody is in this movie just enough to like really make a stamp on it. He's not overbearing in it. He's not kind of like the comic relief sidekick that's doping around like the whole way through. He's in it just enough to where it's like it's perfect.
Yeah. And yeah, I like that they made him a little more kind of thematically necessary with the opening. The fact.
Oh, absolutely. Right.
Oh, that's gotta hurt.
He only appeared in like 2 scenes in the first movie.
Yeah, but again, he had a good presence in that movie. He was a friend of Indy's. He's the guy in charge of the museum, so you get a sense that's where their dynamic comes from. And going forward now, it's a lot more.
I'm just saying, I do like how they expanded his role.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
This is a really good use of like the Indian peril music right here.
Now, a little fun fact here: they actually dumped buckets of dirt and sand from above to make it seem like it was more dramatic.
That makes sense.
yeah, I can see that.
The illusion of the illusion. Like, I love how they can
the magic of movies.
The illusion of angles, right?
Right.
Like what can look like a bunch of rocks falling down, just some guys throwing dirt out of a bucket.
I love that Brody indirectly kind of saves Indy's life here. He basically gets a guy shot in the head and then saves Indy's life.
That's
definitely worked a lot more comedy into this movie in the action scenes, especially.
By the way, during this scene, his hat kept blowing off, so he actually stapled it to his head a few times.
Oh god! Yeah. Oh, I can see that getting really annoying.
And there's actually this fun little thing of footage, like in the outtakes, where he's going over the script and he's using his head as a puppet. Telling him, "Remember, you stay on my head." During this scene, it's pretty funny. Like he moves.
There's video footage of Harrison stapling it to his head as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's like those two things. Like he's telling them.
He knocked Brody down.
Yep.
Collateral damage.
Oh, he's fine. I'll walk it off.
I like how this Nazi guy's just still going, man. He's such a... I think he's probably like the best henchman in an Indiana Jones movie, I'd wager to say.
Definitely...
And now that's what you call severe rug burn.
Yeah. And I love that Sulla comes in here for the save, and he says, "Father of India, give me your hand." This is gonna sound like a stretch, I know, but kind of this the whole bit where he's like handing off his father to the cell there. It feels a little bit like ending a Toy Story 2 on the airplane, where they're kind of dangling from the plane.
Yeah.
That's a stretch, I know. I'm just saying thematically, it's a little similar.
There's the hat. That's probably the one time they allowed the hat to blow off.
Yes, and I
Yeah,
love that the hat
yeah.
kind of symbolizes the quote unquote death of Indiana Jones. You know, whenever the hat's gone, something bad's ahead.
And here we
There
go,
he
like
goes.
this.
Oh,
It
guys, rushes
all
them like that.
convinced. It all, like when you first saw this movie.
I now realize that's actually a miniature tank that they dropped down there.
You mean, did you think Indy actually bought it?
Yeah. Was there ever a moment that you thought, like, oh my god, they just killed off Indiana Jones?
Oh,
Well,
never,
honestly,
never,
I just
never.
I love the gag of, like, they think he's gone. I do like kind of the emotional thing at least. They play like a real moment. I do love that. But, you know, Indiana Jones got bigger than life. You don't expect to get killed off. You know, it's just like, yeah.
The
What if-
illusion
what
of
if-
perspective. I think that's actually
And
the
then,
illusion of
like,
perspective. That's actually a mini tank. That's actually a miniature tank on a small ground.
yeah. What if, like, 3 years later they came out with Indy 4 post, like, Harrison Ford's death as Indiana Jones, as the Indiana Jones character, and then Sean Connery was the new Indiana Jones?
Anyway, I love in this a little bit with Sean Connery here, where he's saying, all it would have took would be 5 minutes to tell him what I needed to tell him. That's such a really well written line. You know, honestly, it's all it would have taken is 5 minutes of his time
Absolutely.
with his son to tell him everything he needed to in life. All the lessons he could really impart on his son. You know, it's 5 minutes, and then Solace, John Rhys Davies' performance in this scene really does break me up. It's like,
I love how he's looking over the cliff and then he's like,
He's looking like what are you
this is a hilarious little image right here of just like looking over. Yep, he's
The only thing that would have made this better is if Indy was like, hey, what are you guys all sad about? And Sean
That
Connery
would've
was just
been-
like, oh, son, we're just so sad because you just went over the cliff in the tank.
That would be hysterical, but I seriously do love John Rhys Davis' reaction. You're so triumphant. Look at that. It's so beautiful. It's like, my friend's not dead. Indy, my friend, you're not dead. It's calling back to it.
Call back.
That's what I'm saying. But it's played without words, and it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
and they just leave him.
Yeah, they can't. He says,
Sure, you almost died, but come on, stop goofing around.
both kind of the meta thing. Hey, what are you doing? The movie's almost over. Let's go.
I like how realistic it is that
goes
Indy
back
is just
to him.
completely exhausted after that fight.
Yep.
He is
Yes.
spent.
His hat comes back. His hat's almost alive.
So this canyon here, this is actually a practical location where it's they didn't have to alter anything. The markings outside the Grail entrance, those are actual markings in the area.
I
I've
can see
actually
that.
I've actually seen this kind of temple in other movies.
Yeah. Well, it's not uncommon. You know, you got a lot of movies that are gonna borrow similar like
What's
the
the- what-
dimensions and stuff.
What's the timestamp you guys have?
All right.
139:30.
Yeah.
Perfect, alright.
Love the reflection on Connery's glasses right there.
Oh, yeah,
Looks
yeah.
good.
Looks like he's wearing a monocle.
A little bit, yeah.
I've actually seen this kind of location in other movies.
It's a great looking location.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this was recycled for like a myriad of movies in Hollywood's golden age.
I've even seen it in some more recent ones. I
Mhm.
forget what they were.
So now here we really enter kind of the crux of the third act, the really memorable part of the movie.
The third act takes almost entirely in this place.
Yeah, it does take place pretty much. Yeah, all in this place, yeah.
It's just amazing how they're able to carve that entire temple out of a mountain.
Yeah.
Or in a cavern, more like chasm, more like canyon.
I'm still amazed that again that's just in a natural location.
Right.
Well, I
right.
don't-
Yeah, someone carved it way back. I mean, that wasn't done just for production. I'm impressed by that. You know.
Well, the thing is, this is probably a different introduction. Like, this is a different, indoors
Well,
location.
yeah,
though.
different. I'm talking about the exterior. The exterior.
The exterior is pretty neat.
Yeah.
The exterior feels like it'd be something that you'd find on the Universal backlot or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, I love Donovan's plan here. This is what I really love Donovan as a character, where he's kind of laying into his plan of, well, look, Hitler. The Nazis just want the glory of having discovered. I want actually to sample it. So I'm going to send I'm going to send these guys in here until someone comes out with the Grail. I'm going to sample it to make sure it works, which gives me, eternal life. And then, Hitler can take it, but I'm going to live forever while his... Eventually, he's going to topple. Like, he'll die out at some point, now I'm still going to be around. So, again, that's a brilliant plan, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Let Hitler have his glory. I'm still going to live through it.
Almost kind of Red Skull-esque.
Very... Only Red Skull's going to, like, kind of destroy Hitler and everyone else. That's kind of the...
Okay, yeah, sure.
Or kind of a wait-and-see plan. But it kind of, like, all the villains that work with Nazis are like, let Hitler do his thing. We don't care. We're just using his assets.
Very much a standoff right here.
No, this bit here where he shoots Sean Connery, I think this is why I like his character the most. It's like,
This does kind of make him the most, cunning of the James Bond.
Look, I'm just gonna shoot your dad without a second thought. Oh well.
The only James Bond villain to ever successfully shoot James Bond.
Right. That's very true.
So originally, the way this scene played, again, there were a few alternate versions of this. Initially, it was Elsa who shot Indy's father.
I'm kind of glad they did that because it makes her an overall more sympathetic character.
And I believe it was Donovan who fell down the pits. I mean, they kind of shifted. They kind of basically switched their roles a little bit there. But yeah, you're right though. Donovan does get a lot to work. It's really cool. Also, some of the way the Grail worked was like when you touch the wrong Grail, your head you blew up. When you touched just touching the wrong Grail made you blow up. That was the gag. But they changed that to be a little more trippy, a little more cool.
Kind of like that'd be kind of like Ark of the Covenant, though.
Yeah, exactly. That's probably what they.
Yeah. The way they changed it definitely makes it a little more thematic and ties much more into the overall theme of the movie for sure.
And the fact that we care about Indy's father at this point really makes us effective. Like, oh my God, we don't want him to die. And so we're putting your belief in this item. We've seen Indy's kind of belief in magic and stuff kind of varies from the films,
Now I'm just kind of curious about something. Is the whole choosing poorly thing, is that actually a whole biblical thing, or is that just something they made up for this movie?
It sounds like,
Yeah, they made it up.
I mean, the specifics of the legend and stuff is something that, it's up to,
I was just wondering,
Jesus drank from the cup, but the cup wasn't like some big important thing from the Bible. I mean, he passed the cup around from the disciples and they drank from it. So, it wasn't really expanded upon other than that.
So do you think it's accurate that it would be just kind of this tiny lump of clay rather than this giant gold chalice?
That sounds
right. Yeah. Jesus.
Cup of a carpenter. It does sound a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me tell you what I really love about this whole premise of the theory kind of dawned on me is I love that it all boils down to Indy doing what he's done best in the beginning of Raiders of the Lost Ark, but with his father's guidance through the book he's using. So again, I love it's kind of something we see.
And with his father's life on the line as well.
Absolutely. Again, in order to save his father, and to do so, he also has to really believe in the item. It's not just the preservation of history. So it's actually he has to go in there, has to believe in the girl. Otherwise, his father's dead. He's doing this not only for his own survival, just hopefully save his father.
Of course.
So, I mean, Spielberg, I remember seeing Spielberg kind of arrange the letters after the whole Penitent Man thing here, so you can actually kind of hop within a believable distance to kind of each letter. Because they have to have some consideration for, how far is Indy going to hop and stuff, like a little detail. Like, that makes sense. You have to plan out how you can't just put the letters like a keyboard or something, because how is he going to jump to these letters? Penitent Man. Well, again, this kind of calls back to the blasphemy a little bit.
Whoa!
Cool.
Death machines. Courtesy of...
Donovan is just kind of having to be having his hand held through this whole thing.
There's another version too of when they were figuring out what the Grail exactly was going to do. There was a whole plot thing where when his father was drinking from the thing, drinking from the Grail, he would actually ascend the stairway of heaven. Like you actually see the stairway of heaven. So again, it went a little out there in the original drafts. They had to alter a lot of stuff. Indy was going to get into an actual fight with the knight on horseback. I don't know if the knight was going to be on horseback inside this place or if it was going to lead outside or something. I don't know. He was going to actually.
I don't know. I gotta say, Indy in a fight would it be a knight in shining armor, because that'd be really cool.
Basically, it'd be the knight that we kind of see here, but actually put up a fight though.
That'd be more like Monty Python than Indiana Jones.
No, they can make it work. I think they can make it work.
I'm saying Indy doing a battle with a knight would still be cool. I think the way the old one was a lot wiser. You know, again, it doesn't boil down to a fight, and I love that.
I see your point, I guess.
Battle of wits.
I think it's like boiling down. Indy's an archaeologist too. I mean, normally fights things to kind of protect the item and kind of get to the item before the bad guys do. But at its core, it's not like a violent occupation. They're going to shoot people to get an item. You're not going to shoot innocent people to get an item. That's just doing his job.
Sure.
Jehovah. Yeah. A leap from the lion's head.
I do have to wonder how Donovan and Elsa got across the letter gap.
That's what I was wondering. He didn't leave any type of clues for him.
Yeah, how did that happen? Also, how they kind of taken the leap of faith here? The other.
Well, he spreads the sand across the bridge so they can see it.
Does he
I guess that's true, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Now, this is a great ILM effect, by the way, him taking the
Oh,
leap.
heck yes.
This is probably my favorite effect in the whole movie right here.
Which, again, was foreshadowed brilliantly in the beginning.
All about forced perspective.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
Big time.
Such a cool idea. Well, you're going to hide something. That's how you hide it. Most believe, boy.
I've actually studied a bit of the forced perspective thing.
Nice.
Well, I've studied it as well, Jacob, just because Disney used it extensively in the theme park, so...
It's a big world after all.
Or so it's forced to be so. It's forced to look like it.
It's a seemingly large world after all. It's actually a small world after all.
It's up to you and me. Oh, it's a small world kind of after all.
Forced perspective at its finest.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, look at that. Amazing. This really does show that India was taking advantage of the current technology of filmmaking at the time right here.
Yeah.
Stuff like this.
You know, kind of after the Lucasfilm kind of was developing the computer system.
Right.
They had a droid and all that. Oh, yeah, you're right. I forgot about the sand bit, but yeah, it's...
Oh, yeah. See, that explains it.
That definitely is a pretty trippy effect.
Still doesn't explain the letters, though. They should be dead with the letters.
Yeah.
I get you with the letters, yeah.
However, honestly, I gotta tell you, the letters thing actually wouldn't be a hard thing to figure out. You can piece together, okay, wrong letters, just you put your one foot on the wrong letter, and then you just walk on the right letters.
Yeah. And some of the letters seems like it wouldn't even be big enough to fit through.
Yeah. So this knight is awesome, am I right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I love he's like this soft-spoken guardian. Again, it looks like he might be a fighter first, and he says, "Whoa," because he's 700 years old. Give the guy a coffee, you know?
I don't know if you guys have seen the Robot Chicken where the other knights leave him here and he's like ordering pizza. And
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Also, how it should have ended where they say, well, you know, why didn't you just kind of like leave a little warning instead of just waiting?
Right.
They address that, no, he can't, if he leaves, you know... If he leaves it, the magic wears off. Which makes me wonder: is that why Indy's father dies in Indiana Jones 4?
I think that only wears. I don't know. Maybe it only applies when they drink it.
I'm saying, look, Indy drinks this, and so does Indy drinks from it, and so does his father. But is the idea when they leave, then it wears off?
Well, does
no,
it say
no,
when he died in Indy 4?
What?
Does it say how long after this he died in Indy 4?
It doesn't say. It doesn't say
I
that.
don't, because the Grail itself, I don't think is magical. I mean, I don't think it was ever going to grant eternal life to begin with, whether you stayed there or not, because there's no magic associated with the Bible.
Well, I mean, what about the way
Or
how
Jesus.
you say the Ark of the Covenant?
I know that wasn't magical though.
Well, I mean, what is it then?
Well, it's spiritual.
Well, I mean, it's
Those are two different things.
I don't know. It seems awfully similar. Something can't be explained. It's really powerful.
Well, the Ark of the Covenant was the power of God, which magic. They're two different things. God in the Bible, he bans magic, the use of black magic, and all that stuff.
They-
Well, the point is, so like, how does he, magic or no? How does he, die after he supposedly has eternal life?
Well, I don't think he ever was. I think that was just a myth, like a rumor.
Okay,
I don't think he was either. Well, so this knight has been sitting here for 700 years.
He might have drank from the cup. And he's a ghost, so there's that.
Yeah, there is that.
But importantly, I mean, the fact that Indy's father does get healed by the thing kind of raises some questions. That's all I'm saying. So I'm just wondering if it's like, if you leave the place, it wears off or not, because that wouldn't make sense. Okay, that's why his father died. Because I was like,
well, Dragon, I think the answer to your question lies in we have to find out what year Henry Ford Sr. died in, because if it was like 1939, then.
Did you say Henry Ford?
Yes, you said Henry Ford.
Oh. Henry Jones, I apologize.
No, I'm saying regardless, the fact he shouldn't die, period. That's the thing. It doesn't matter if it's a year or not. He shouldn't die. I'm saying it's still healed him. That was inside the thing. He's not going to be wounded again when he walks in. I'm saying the fact that he should also have eternal life. Unless that wears off when you leave.
That could be.
That's my assumption. That's the only way I can make it make sense. Otherwise, it does. It's still a plot. Regardless,
let's give credit where credit's due. This is a fucking wonderful death right here.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Such a great death.
I also chose.
Especially when you see the Nazi pin in the dust.
Yeah.
I also probably knew it was the wrong one.
Oh yeah, she knew.
Yeah, I like that too.
Oh, that's sick. Oh.
Yeah.
And this is all without CGI.
Yeah, how great is that?
Amazing.
Like an air gun blows him across the room and shatters him. It's really cool.
Oh,
Yeah, there's the Nazi bit.
Oh yeah, that's great. That's
a great image. He chose poor.
Oh,
I love that knight. That knight is so freaking awesome. He's so stoic. He's just so.
You could make a whole movie out of that night and like him just sitting around guarding the Grail. I'd watch that.
He's just so noble and haunting.
Wait,
That's the journey to the guy getting to that place where he's just waiting by the Grail. Let's see that movie.
And then he'd be like, oh no, not another one. Like, oh great, someone else came.
If the guy really treats him poorly, then he's just say, "Hey, pick that one." So again, remember, folks, going forward, again, this Indy drinks strong, so he should also have eternal life unless it wears off.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Wisely.
He chose wisely.
Oh boy.
The Grail cannot pass beyond the Great Sea.
Yeah, I don't know if that might also be it. Again, when it passes, when you leave, try taking the Grail out, maybe the magic wears off.
But I think it's like it heals wounds, but it removes immortality.
Removes immortality.
I said I think it heals wounds and but I think the eternal life thing is only if you stay there. But it heals everything else.
I
think
I could see that.
That explains why the Knights lived there, because he's drinking from the thing. Stayed there.
I still really wish they would have like a line or something, like just like a quick addressment of that.
How has he kept water in that thing for over hundreds of years?
Well, it's just any water, so it's like it might be like a little well or something down there.
Maybe, because I said...
If the blood of the cup, it's like any old water will do.
Alright, I guess because he'd have to go outside, because that's thing he might have to go outside to collect water, who knows.
Anyway, this is a great little moment here. Okay, hey, Father's alive, we're all doing the happy dance, let's get out of here. He's alive! He's alive so we can kill him again in the next one.
Oh god. Don't get used to him being in these movies, people.
Again, this really is a good moment where he has the Grail in his hands after all these years. He awakens from death also to find that, and then these guys they're wigged out and they're running away. Drop your guns, please. The fact that he says please, Salo is awesome. He says please. That's the classic guy.
This whole thing with the Grail leaves so many questions unanswered.
That's like the only gripe I really have with the movie. That's the only.
And for me, it's misleading because people, that's just not how the Bible works. It's not how God works.
Here's the thing: that gets me though is that if this was the last Indiana Jones movie, I have no problem with it because again, it leaves you wondering. Okay, well maybe they live forever. I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. You don't really need to know. But if we do another Indiana Jones movie where characters who had this thing die, then you wonder. Then you start to question the logic. And they didn't know. And the guys making this movie, they didn't know because they didn't figure they need to know. So we can't really hold it against them until 4.
Yeah, I also find it confusing how all this different stuff ties in with knights and how this ties in with like the Night Keepers of the Cup, and it's like I don't get it.
Yeah, I agree with you, Sandy. That's kind of one of the reasons why this movie doesn't hit as strong with me as some of the others.
No, that's not.
Man,
I don't really buy that.
Raiders worked so much better because it was just getting the arc and finding.
No, I agree. I think Raiders was just a lot more straightforward.
Yeah, definitely.
This is pretty straightforward too until 4 comes out. This is pretty okay. You drink from the cup, you live and you heal. Mainly you heal. Living is up for question. But you don't need to question it.
I don't see how...
Death by leather gloves.
If it removes immortality and then he died of natural causes, I don't see what the big deal is.
This is a wonderful little close-up to Indy's character arc right here.
Oh yeah.
This bit right here. Initially, it was reversed. His father was the one who went for the Grail because of his obsession with it. And Indy saved him. They switched it around, makes it a little more effective. So finally,
I like how the father has clarity now. Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, father's showing respect to son. He calls him Indiana. Really nice. Really sweet.
Let it go.
And the fact Indy went through all that to save his father, now his father's saving his life, give him the credit too. And the fact that he gets to see the knight, that's a really nice part.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's like the knight kind of give him like a little kind of the seal of, okay, hey guys, you're good, get out of here. And the 2 guys who kind of were able to drink from the Grail and not die.
Is the knight a goner, though? What do we think?
Well, no, knight's a ghost, he's fine.
Oh, that's true, he's a ghost.
No, the knight's not a ghost, he's a real person, he's just drinking from the cup and he's lived.
You know, though, it is a little ambiguous, though, because he's all blue and ghostly, though.
Yeah. That's another question unanswered about this movie.
Yeah, because he does touch Indy, and then again, it's either was always up in the air. Initially, he'll write him off as a ghost, but then again, when you realize if you factor in the cup thing, again, if it was the last note, you'd give it a pass, but now you have to put some.
In 700 years, that's quite a while to be spending in a cave, especially with no food or anything.
Well, again, ghost wouldn't have to worry about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, maybe the water from the Grail healed his hunger.
Yeah, again, we don't know. Eternal life, you don't have to worry about dying of starvation. It's all, yeah.
I don't know.
I don't hold it against the movie that I now have to. In hindsight, we have to hold it against. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, all the nitpicks in the world that we can give this movie, though, let's just give credit where credit's due. This is an absolutely amazing way to end it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I love the background. The meta thing with the dog gig, they finally bring in the guys where Indiana guy's name is actually where he got his name. The solace enjoyment of but
the dog? I had a lot of fun memories of that dog.
Yep, and yeah, it's really sweet.
More fun memories of the dog than his own
He just
father.
thinks he knows what he's doing, but he absolutely doesn't.
Still have Marcus Brody. I know, wow.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. He's going on the wrong. Got lost in his own museum.
What a way to end.
Riding off to the sunset. That's the way to end the movie.
I get chills every time.
And again, the way also in the movie is with the Indiana Jones music. Dun, 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 dun.
Classic Western ending.
Yes.
Well, this isn't really a Western, but it's a Western ending.
Well, the guy wears a hat and is by the sunset. Give him a pass.
And I love how you see them writing out throughout the whole credits.
Well, that's the stick with Indiana Jones. You always kind of see the scene going on as it's.
And how do they stay in that same spot, writing, continuously?
Really long distance.
They might loop the film at a certain point.
Because they have to fade off into the distance. They can't just keep writing the same space forever.
Well, they probably slow it down. That's how it's. They kind of slow it down until they get far enough.
They're writing at full speed. Here, it'll go up to the.
I mean, that's the illusion. It might be an illusion though. They're probably moving at the speed so they can keep the credits going over, perhaps. I mean, that's speculative. I don't know.
I hate when this movie plays on TNT or something, and we get the credits pushed in.
I hate it when they always kind of push in the credits, and they also mainly if something's going on during the credits or like following the credits, keep it. All right, don't speed through the credits unless something's actually going on.
All right. So speaking of credits, guys, now that we're here, I want to get some final thoughts to wrap it up.
Beautiful movie. Beautiful movie.
Seconded.
Yep.
That's it. That's all your guys' final thoughts.
No, I'm going to say something
Just
more
beautiful
stuff.
movie.
I agree with them. That's all.
It's one of like Spielberg's best movies, along with Raiders.
Yeah.
It definitely has a lot. The flaws are definitely a lot more noticeable than Raiders. There's a lot of questions left unanswered, and there's things that leave you wondering how all the different elements tie in together. But when it all boils down to it, it's a great, as you guys said, it's a great Father's Day movie. It's a great villains, I guess I should say. Great supporting characters. Of course, we get to see Sal again. That's always a treat. It's brilliantly directed. I mean, the shots, like we were talking about earlier, there's beautiful, beautiful shots in this film. It's absolutely magnificent, this movie.
All right. Dragon?
I really have a lot of fondness for this film. Again, it boils down to Raiders is the one you know like the back of your hand. You don't even need to rewatch it because it's just so burned in your memory because you've seen it probably so many times in your lifetime, or you've seen it that one time, just everything burned in your memory. This one's the one you want to sit down, you want to watch it. It's such an enjoyable experience time and time again. It's the comedy, the father-son bonding is excellent. Again, rewatching, I still have tons of fondness for it. Again, the only thing, and I can't even hold against the movie. I don't think it's fair to hold again the questions that are left unanswered because again, they're supposed to be unanswered when the film came out. They're supposed to be maybe leave it a little bit wondering, but also it's like kind of the last chapter, leaving on a triumphant end. Let's not worry about it until again we start to revisit. It's a double-edged sword in that regard. So again, I can't judge this film based on that, but I understand we're now looking back on there's now scrutiny, which unfortunately the film's kind of stuck with. It's a little unfair, but it's the price of revisiting the well or revisiting kind of the Grail water in this case. It's a very fun movie. Again, if Raiders didn't hold up so darn well, I would say there would be an argument made to compare the two, but Raiders still is just so fantastic. You can't compare Raiders.
Oh, yeah.
I do think this is kind of the film Spielberg and Lucas really wanted to make with their second film, but in the vein of this, but they kind of, they just kind of went in. Again, they're in different places in their lives at that point. This is going to kind of get back to like kind of movies they should have gone forward with. The point is, the way things start out, that doesn't matter. So the important thing is They ended it on a high note, and the film feels like kind of a giant high note, and it does play that way, and because of that, it still holds up as kind of a great little closer to the original trilogy again before revisited. But again, it feels like kind of a great all we can really say, but it's a great triumphant film. It's a good time.
It ended on a high note, or so we all thought.
Or so we thought.
Again, it's an absolutely wonderful ending for the character we've grown to love and everything. Anyway. The explorations beforehand were going in prequel territory of the television show, but again, revisiting the well cheapens it a little.
All right, Jacob, any final thoughts?
Well, I think you guys have basically covered everything. If you watch the first one, my history with Indiana Jones. I got into it kind of late, but I definitely will say it is every single one we've seen is quite a ride in their own special way. Each one has a special place in cinema history. I think it's cinema definitely wouldn't be the same without any of these movies. They're definitely an influence on a lot of people, including me. Definitely one of Spielberg's most notable and best works.
Okay. Yeah, folks, I really don't want to be hard on this movie at all. I'm not trying to be hard. I'm just saying, I love all three of these movies. I absolutely do. This one is, I would say this is definitely comfortably in the top 10 of Spielberg's work, if not even higher up than that. But having said that, it's just the whole Temple of Doom versus Last Crusade thing, it really does come down to a personal taste thing with me. And I am just kind of a fan of risky, subversive filmmaking, and that's why just Temple of Doom rings a little bit more strong with me. Whereas this, I feel like a lot of charm comes out of the humor. Which is not a bad thing at all. It's just a different kind of take on indie. it's a more humorous, lighthearted take on Indy, whereas Temple of Doom was definitely kind of the more Tim Burton-ish, like dark and gritty take on Indy. So, while I do prefer Temple of Doom, just on a very personal level, this is an incredibly fun film and an absolutely like wonderful and satisfying way to end the trilogy.
It's a must see if you haven't seen it yet.
And then there was Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Unfortunately.
All right, that was good. That was well timed. That was well timed. All right, guys. So, who here is actually excited about watching Kingdom of the Crystal Skull?
I am.
I look forward to the first act. That's about it.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
I'm excited. I'm looking forward to criticizing it.
I'm morbidly curious, if anything else. Does that make sense?
Well, I mean, again, the first act's all I can really stomach. The rest of it's like, I'm not gonna say I'm instantly turn off by saying it's the worst thing ever afterwards. I'm just saying it's like all the really anything that held any interesting water is now gone after the first act. So
All right.
I'm curious how it holds up after the first act myself, Tiki. I just wonder if going past this, like, oh, I know the first act stuff I can tell afterwards. That's when it gets off the rails.
Okay. Well, folks, it's time to seal up the crate, return home, and hang up our hats until the next adventure on Indiana August.
But Tiki, who's sealing it up?
Top men, Jacob. Top men.